guy that stole my hat. But at any rate,
motherfucker. Oh wait, I can't say that, can I?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can.
We just have to see if
I've said some
should I
horrible
bleep
things on
it?
this live stream. No,
we just have to make sure that we're streaming through the mixer and not the onboard mic. If we are, we have a problem.
Yeah,
That's monetization. I don't
used to
care
have
about
it both on my
monetization.
and so people would, like, if people would come up to my desk and be like,
Testing the
"Hey,
mic.
do
Testing
you
the
do
mic.
Genesis parts too?" I would grab.
Do you
the
hear
other
me
half
from
and be
this
like,
mic? Beepus.
Yes, we do. So we do
Beepus.
now.
I forgot my
Beepus.
tiny hands.
Beepus. What am I saying?
Oh.
Am I saying beepus?
I have
Am I
these tiny
saying
hands that I put
beepus?
on my finger, and I
We're
thought
live
it would be
Bop
funny.
bum, beepus,
Do you want me to
beepus,
pull up the stream and see if
beepus.
it's-
Yeah, see if you can actually hear me whispering into the mic. Beepus,
Where are we at on regular Roman?
beepus. Yes, regular moment. Beepus, 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 beepus,
Hope it's live.
beepus.
I hope
Boat,
no one.
boat, boat,
Yeah.
boat. Come, ugly
you're
come,
it's definitely
ugly
in there.
come, ugly come, ugly come, ugly come, ugly come, ugly come. Doesn't even smell good. Doesn't even smell good. Ugly come. Smells wrong. It smells wrong. You need to go to the urgent care. It's not salty. It's not salty. It's not salty. It's slimy. It smells like Trenton. Your cum smells like Trenton.
Trend makes the world takes.
All right, welcome to RCR Podcast number, I don't care. Back from Australia. We have special guests. We need to get microphones closer to people.
Can I move this over here?
You can move the mic anywhere you want, and we're fine. Actually, the light. It's picking up.
All of the lights that can be on
Yeah.
are on currently in this
Oh,
living
dear.
room. We have no more
No,
lights. Jesus Christ.
General light.
General light?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do this the whole time. Just way up here. Can they hear me? I should slam this down really hard because I think
Yeah, and you can extend the boom on
Oh,
that.
yeah, you
Spin it
bet your ass
around.
I
You
can.
remember.
Yeah, oh
It
yeah.
smells like
There's a
coffee.
little
Yeah.
wire keeper, so the
Gets
wire isn't up all
longer.
up on you. And I'm going to be hand holding this.
And I can get this out of the way.
These microphones are old timey. There are pieces of red tape on the front of the mic. It
God damn it.
listens through what?
I dropped the cable keepers under the chair.
No, you didn't.
I did.
Oh, there's a second one, I
There's a
guess.
second one that I just
Alright.
threw. I got it. No, I don't. Well, whatever.
What is happening?
So the microphones themselves are meant to be up and down.
And the red tape on the side is where they hear from, correct?
Yeah, these are really microphones meant to be on tables.
You want a glass, Corey?
I'm gonna take my.
Oh, should I not do product placement? Does that matter?
Well, it'd be nice if they pay us, but yeah.
Brian, you want to make a drink before you
I
start?
do want to make a drink. Before we go.
I want to imagine that you have a tuxedo on underneath.
Yeah, no, I changed before I left because I don't want to be on here with my smelly breath.
Hello, it is Matto. Our fixer from Australia is here. You can DRNNC your beepus and freedom from any form of interruption or disturbance. Matto, I still owe you some copy for a future RCR review. Twitch streamer Z, aka Scribby Noodle, and if I lean back, I am out of frame. So, I'm still adjusting to time zones. I woke up at 11:13 a.m. After I woke up. Let's see, I need to move this camera farther back.
You know, I turned on the sconces except that switch is dead.
Yeah, I keep forgetting to replace that switch.
There we go.
It's on the list of things I almost want to do sometime.
Is that camera? Or is that light?
That's camera.
That's camera. No. Yeah.
Did you think that was a light?
No, I thought he broke. Yeah, I thought he broke.
I thought about bringing studio lights, but
We don't.
the Elgato works pretty well. So I need to pee. I need to put fluid in me and also fluid that acts against the other fluid. There are questions. Already people are asking questions in the chat.
Oh.
Jim, if you want to take the super producer position and
Ooh.
just read off questions, we're going to be hanging out for a while. So,
Fuck
yeah.
Well, I'm not getting any pictures.
I'm gonna grab my phone then. I'm gonna. What's happening?
Yeah. Yeah. The questions are right there. There's the mic.
All righty.
Thank you for a drink.
Absolutely.
I got to turn the audio off because we're gonna have a problem if I keep that on.
I agree. I think everybody needs a martini.
Do I need a martini? What are you doing? Oh, are you pulling up the stream on your thing too, so you can see the thing?
Yes, because I had a
Did you
friend
choose
who
to
wanted
be
to
teetotal?
know about it.
Nope. Actually, I'm good to go. I found out from the doctor I can drink.
Really?
Yes,
They let
and
you
the-
drink post
Oh,
ablation?
Jim,
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, not tons and tons, but
We can.
I
I mean, you can do tons and tons.
I can have a post ablation libation.
True. A post ablation liberation,
Well, that's true.
if you may.
Well, yeah, the liberation came when all the plumbing started working again of its own accord.
That's true. How do you feel? Like $1 million?
Relieved.
Like a 20-year-old again?
Yeah, like they didn't have to, they didn't have to go in and start fracking,
Right.
which. And if I knew it was wide angle, I would have cleaned up the fucking living room a little more.
Well, what do you think we were going to use? A telephoto lens from the kitchen?
No, I thought it was going to be closer to like on individuals, but since it's the broad shot.
Fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna rely on the commenters to tell me what if they think the audio levels are acceptable. Because like the last time we did this, I was so much louder than Brian by a long shot.
Did you have this microphone?
Are
last
there
time,
any
though?
bike
I did.
reviews
Yeah.
coming in
I did, and I was
2025?
real far away from it, so I thought I'd be okay. I was not. Incorrect. I was super loud,
Well, probably.
and actually, it was like me clipping the mic the entire time, and like Brian was inaudible, and Jim was fine, which is crazy because one of those mics was sitting like behind Jim on the desk, like
I know.
over his shoulder, and it was picking him up.
Ugh.
Yeah, that was kind of amazing.
Tony Airlines. Hi, Tony.
Oh, Tony.
Yay, good
Hi,
to see
Tony.
you.
Oh.
Hi. You should be here, Tony. We're having a terrific dinner after this.
Like a Twitch channel. I feel like every time somebody
Ooh,
who
Morgan
like knows
three-wheeler with
they
Alice.
should have like
I'm
confetti.
good.
I like that idea.
How long into this do we have to make it before Brian starts playing with the power chair?
I don't know, but the sooner he starts playing with it, the better. Let me see if I can turn this on.
What the torsiere? Oh yeah, because we need even more light in here. It doesn't really matter. The camera kind of seems to just auto expose itself regardless of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess I don't know. It's grainy. It is what it is.
So you're all set for something to drink?
I could
I'll get you a bottle of water.
give me something strong.
What the fuck do you want?
I don't know. I don't drink. I
You want
don't
scotch?
drink. I have no idea.
I know.
Do you have anything fruity? Don't look at me like that. It's implied.
Would that mean you have to drink yourself?
I think
Come
you have
on,
to keep it up for a while. He'll leave.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
come
he'll
on.
leave soon.
I
The
know.
problem is that he'll sit over there, and I'll
I know, and
still
just
see
just
him.
lurk like a vulture.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. You know which pictures are going to show up for that.
Womp womp.
Kurt wants Smirnoff Ice.
I don't want Smirnoff Ice, but thank you for the suggestion. Is this like falling down? I feel like this has gotten lower. I don't know.
It is. It's going flaccid.
Well, me too. Happens to the best. Oh, this thing's like loose as hell. I remember this from last time. I fought this mic stand for a while. It's okay. Whatever. It's not good.
Yeah, it got
leave
brighter.
there.
We turned on a
Huh?
You can leave
torsiere.
it there.
Yeah, I think it's fine. My concern is when I look at you and talk, but then I can also just yell at your mic.
Do you
I'm
want
going
me
to be looking at you.
Do you
for
want me
a
to
while.
move it?
No. I
Oh.
think it's fine.
Okay.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
You in good shape?
Yeah.
Boy, that's showing considerable restraint.
I know it's like a very little tiny glass, and then a whole bottle of water.
Oh, nice.
That is fair.
Thank you. All right.
Questions
Appropriate.
about are you going to do more bike reviews in 25?
Yes.
Not a car.
My friend Ted, who designed the RCR logo, recently bought I don't know if it's a Chinese scooter. I could text him. He bought a electric scooter, but not a stand-up Lime style scooter. He bought a kind of sit-down Piaggio style,
Okay.
mixed with what is the style of like this new, not cyberpunk, not what Hyundai Kia is doing, but the kind of like minimalist style that's going on right now. Like the future is gray, the future is impersonal, and we have angles for no goddamn reason.
Do you think it's over designed or you mean it's like, or it's overly simplistic to be retro?
Yeah, it is. It is over designed, but just like future brutalism, maybe is the design. I think it's a Chinese scooter, but I'm not sure. Which is weird because I saw a lot of Chinese like BOV or BYV vehicles in Australia, and all of them are just blatant ripoffs of everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he has that scooter. I think it goes like 45 miles an hour, maybe 50. So you do need a license for it, I guess. It's not there's no pedals, so they didn't get around it like that. I should just text him. So yes, motorcycle stuff in the future, depending after I move somewhere, will I buy a Yamaha SR 400 kickstart and have that, or the Honda Today, or both?
Ooh,
I love the Honda
today.
Today.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. So there's also the question of whether or not I sell Susie, whether or not I sell the 4Runner and put that up on Cars and Bids, because the DJI Osmo 3 works so well that the Nairo can just be the camera car.
I'm good. I'm glad that worked out for you. I had a feeling it was going to.
The
but I'm
Nairo, the
glad-
DJI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy that that's behaving the way that you want it to.
It worked well. We're going to see what happens in the wintertime, because we're reliant now on that vacuum cup, one of those things, to cling to a window in below freezing temperatures. Will it maintain that? And am I about to drop a $700 camera on the ground? So we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm going to need the 4Runner for moving. My parents, my mom is half living in Florida now, as you do. When
Oh, I didn't
you're
know
in
that went through.
Yeah. So she is renting a guest house from her friend who lives down there. So my mom can be closer to her sister, who is now entering end of life care at one of those, not the villages, but villages adjacent, the senior citizen communities. So mom wants to be down there with her sister for her, final years. Mom's Volkswagen Beetle convertible now lives in Florida, appropriately enough. White exterior, tan interior, tan soft top.
What year Beetle?
The last year they made it.
Oh.
Yeah. She
It's
bought that at
it's
Jay
nice.
Bertolette
She's-
Volkswagen.
Brian has a cool mom.
I have there's a handful of like cars that really no one should like that I have a soft spot for, and the new Beetle is one of them. I love the new Beetle.
Did it come in a turbo?
They
Yes.
did. You could get the 1.8 turbo in the
Yeah.
Beetle. They also
It's the same engine, I think, in the Passat
uh-huh.
turbo.
Okay.
And I do also believe that they may have done, because there was a version of the Beetle called the Turbo S, like the Porsche.
Mm.
And I think those got the 2-liter. I think they might have just gotten a hopped up 1.8. I can't remember. Somebody just had a suggestion that I was thinking of the same thing. When the first time you try that DJI, maybe like tie something around it that you put through the window of the car. or some
Matto
shit.
just
That's
said
what I was
safety
saying.
That's
wires.
what
Like,
I was thinking.
just
yeah.
do, in case the
Just
suction cup falls
something.
off, just it's still attached to the car. Do you do it off the back window or off the side?
Well,
like
that's
quarter glass, or
That's an interesting thing. There's no hard points on the outside of the Nairo.
right?
So you'd have to, I guess, run a wire and just close the hatch on.
That's what I either close the hatch on it or close a window on it. Like if you do it off the quarter
Yeah.
glass, like put it in the side passenger
Yeah.
window and just close the window,
and then
on it or
just hope
something.
that the little gimbal on the camera doesn't.
Yeah, like wherever you tie it to. Is there a provision to put like a strap on that?
Well, I mean, we're just see that mount that our camera's
Yeah,
on. It's
no, I
one
mean
of
like
those.
on the bottom of the DJI, is there like a loop for you to put a wrist strap or something that you could tie something through?
No, there's not.
That's a
Maybe
design.
I'd have
That's
to go
an
back
oversight.
and look at it. Yeah.
Yeah,
If
makes
not,
me
you just
really
tie it to
nervous.
that.
yeah, that's
to
an
just have the
oversight.
camera
Because if
hanging
you
out.
have a product that you've designed as a here's my product design era that
I'm ready. You have a promising
if you have a
career.
product that you've designed to be handheld and it's that expensive and it's
Yeah.
meant to be an action camera, you would think they'd have a provision for like a wrist strap that you can put around your wrist and tighten down so that if when you're running with it or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck and you throw it, then it
Mhm.
just is still
Yeah.
on your,
Mm-hmm.
because it's this big around and like matte plastic, so it's slippery,
Mm-hmm.
and you just
Yeah.
Yeah, that screams aftermarket.
Yeah.
it does. But I feel like
All I have to do is take apart one of those things and put a key ring through it.
pretty much.
Yeah, take it off and it'll jiggle down there, and we don't care about the audio.
That is also true. If as long as the camera stays on the arm, if the arm falls off the car, then you can just make sure that the arm is tied to the like your suction cup John is tied to the car in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do know. Yeah, somebody mentioned that the Beetle was a GTI, and I'm aware of that. Yeah, the last gen Beetle was on a GTI Jetta platform.
Mm-hmm.
So was the first gen. Well, like the new Beetle when it came out in 98 or 99 or whatever, that was just a Mark IV.
Yeah.
It was just a Mark IV, but egg.
Yeah.
And so those are awesome. I just shared on Instagram the other day. Somebody has can you untie that? It drives me crazy trying to look at you through this charging cable that's dangling from a lamp. I know it's there for a reason. I'll put it back, but I just shared a Beetle RSI. Remember those? So they did look up the Beetle RSI, but they did it was like a homologated race car kind of thing, but it was the VR6 Quattro setup. It's like an Audi TT in a Beetle.
Oh, I did see you post this.
All-wheel drive,
Yes.
like either manual. I think they were manual transmission only. They might have offered a dual clutch, but it was a VR6 in a Beetle with an all-wheel drive system.
And this is a factory?
It was a factory thing.
Kind of cute.
They made very, very few of them, and if I remember correctly, it was for homologation purposes. I think they did it because they were building it as a race car, and it was one of those series of racing where they're like, you have to have 200 road going versions of this in order to use this chassis as a race car.
Interesting.
But the RSI was sick. I love.
What did you drive here, Corey?
Matilda.
Oh, okay.
I parked right in front of you.
Yeah.
The shittiest Toyota Sequoia the world has ever seen, parked right next to your pristine.
Oh, you took the Sequoia.
Hatch. The Mercedes is still broken, so
Oh, no.
I have to drive the Sequoia.
Did you get a Sequoia as a loaner?
I know I've had a Sequoia.
When got some dinks and bruises.
Like 6 months ago.
Really?
Chris and I bought it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Freaking battle wagon.
It
It is
ass.
huge.
It
Dude, I
kicks
love
ass.
Sequoias.
It's awesome. We bought it exclusively as a tow pig. Like it's a two-wheel drive Sequoia, which is so funny. It created all kinds of problems for me because very recently I attempted to do ball joints on it. And in the process of pressing the upper ball joints out of the knuckle, I snapped the knuckle in half. So then I went to a junkyard to find a knuckle, but naturally every 4Runner Tundra Sequoia in the junkyard was four-wheel drive because why the hell else, why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
And so then that wasn't working out for me. And so then I had to, I ended up.
So you have a two-wheel drive Sequoia.
Yeah. I ended up buying a press to
Mhm.
try to salvage the knuckle that I had. That didn't work. So then I just bought a whole new knuckle, hub, bearing, the whole 9 yards, put it all together.
Corey, do you have the chat on your computer too?
I do, but I'm old now, so I have I take my glasses off to read it. So I need to go to the eye doctor before the end of the year so I can monopolize on my FSA money.
Oh shit, I do too.
Oh, see? Oh, making fun of me for being old. No, I have a quote for glasses, and I took like a selfie with them, but I look like shit in it. And everybody was like, "Those glasses are not good." And I was like, "No, don't look at me."
Yeah.
You need a fake ID for the early big special.
Soon.
Yeah, Jim was recently did some glasses shopping, and he sent me what?
No, it's not. It's the size. It's the size.
You can.
I need to
just. The size
I need to just
thing.
do this. This is what I need to do.
Yeah, Jim was glasses shopping recently and sent me a bunch of pictures, and he decided to veer away from his tradition of wire frames and go for like plastic solid ones. And I was like, "You are not beating the Gene Levy allegations anytime soon.
My glasses are 3D printed, but I got them like
Hell yeah.
5 years ago, which pisses me off because 3D printing is supposed to be like, we made it for 10 cents, like $500 glasses, and it's like, what's your
No.
markup on that?
No.
Suck it! Like, I'm so pissed.
I'm wearing Zenny frames. I just got the frames in the mail for like, what are they, $25?
What?
And then took them to the eye doctor, but then I paid a lot at the eye doctor.
I was gonna say, because I learned this, and this is now regular glasses reviews, but I learned that glasses come in, like, you can get different thickness of lenses.
Correct.
So if you have a terrible prescription like me and you go to lens crafters, they're like, we can make you lenses in an hour. And I was like, oh, cool. I can get them in an hour. Like, I'll just be done with this shit. And they give them to you and they hand you like lenses, like your glasses are there, but the lenses are like this thick.
Yeah.
And you're like, ooh. I don't
It's like,
want
could you try a
these.
little harder?
Like,
Yeah.
I don't want those. And they're like, oh, well, the lenses for you are actually like $800.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you want them to be a third that size, they're $1 million. And I was like,
Yeah.
I need to ponder this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to-
Yeah,
God forbid you want
I don't want the
coatings.
distortion of my eyes.
Yeah,
when
yeah,
people
yeah.
look at me and see the
your
back
eyes
of my
are
head.
like
Right. I don't want to walk around with binoculars.
Yeah.
Mine, this will be my
No.
first time going to that.
No, not yet. I'm just lifting them up and thinking about eye surgery. It's about
Yeah,
15.
actually,
Is that-
Why
Wait,
not?
is that a thing that you can?
LASIK is actually earlier on my list than fixing my prescription. Is
Yeah.
my
I would
preference.
stay away from that.
Why?
Why?
Look at him.
Well, because of one bad experience and
Well,
8
yeah, but,
billion
you know,
nice ones.
We
I'm
technically
gonna
only
go-
have 2 chances.
That is correct. That is correct. But like, I don't know. The success to failure rate is high enough that I don't care. Like, I think that the ratio is
Ooh.
insane.
Mm.
I'll let it happen. I'm also young, so we can do it again.
Because I
You
have
know,
like
You have
slight, I have a
2 shots.
stigmatism in my
You do
left
have 2
eye
shots, but
that contacts don't correct. I mean, you can correct them, but I have to wear hard contacts.
yeah,
I did that for a day. I'm
Those
like,
hurt.
no, I can feel my eyelid hitting
Yep.
the lens every time I take a. Yeah.
and
so-
they're like, oh, you get used to it eventually. But you're like, hey, but I have to be conscious of this thing in my eye for the next 2 weeks until I
Yeah.
get used to it. I'm
Yeah,
good.
no.
I wore contacts for a very long time.
I did
Yeah.
too.
I wear it when I ski, do sports. Where I like it for motorcycle riding because then I have full peripheral vision. Even if
Yeah.
it's a little blurry, I can still
Yeah.
see. And also for other activities where I'm wearing a big thing on my head and can't wear glasses. 1 million YouTube subscribers. Get it to that, and we'll have a special treat for people.
Special treat.
Ooh,
Special
what's
treat.
the secret
Special
special treat?
I don't know, but it's a
oh,
secret.
you can't
Reveal
reveal
because
it.
then it's
Oh,
not special
But I
anymore
think you
for
can
I
have-
don't know what it is. So I
Me
Yeah,
mean,
you
neither.
can have I mean, there's a remote possibility. You know what it is.
Right.
What, the home colostomy kit?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Can they hear you?
Not really.
I mean, maybe
That's a
I mean,
shame.
if you
That was
wanna-
a good
if you wanna
joke.
say something, just let me know, and
Sure.
I could have brought a 4th mic, and you could have handheld it.
No,
from the
I
other
just, something being yelled from the flies.
Right.
room.
it does-
Don't
it
do
does-
eye surgery. You'll still need readers soon. Mr.
Yeah.
Regular, does it seem like you're switching to using the DJI for rear-facing driving shots? How do you like it? We talked about it. It's great.
Kicks ass.
It kicks ass.
I remember
it-
you were like afraid of using it just a tiny little bit because of how wide angle it was.
Yeah.
But then we had that conversation of, but it's 4K, so you can crop and it won't matter.
yeah.
Like, it's so high, it's such high resolution, you can just crop into whatever focal length you want.
Yeah, and when we were doing the shots in Australia, Matto's friend had the DJI drone and was using that. I'm like, yo,
Yeah,
for $1,000, you get boom shots.
yeah, you could do drone
We
chase
did a
shots. and
drone
stuff.
shoot
back in the day.
back in the day with like when
Wi-
drone technology
an
was
eight-
new.
Brand
with
new.
an 8 prop
Yeah, big.
They had a
big
Honda
one.
Odyssey
holding
that they carted it around
a
in.
SLR camera.
Yeah, a
Yes.
big one.
Lifting an SLR.
Took
Yeah.
2 guys to run it.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
that thing sounded like a vacuum cleaner.
It was I never knew that about drones.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was drone technology in like 2016.
I know. That's
Yeah.
right.
was-
Breaking tech.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a super chat
Super
coming in.
chat. Yeah. Why does my father keep excitedly buying famously unreliable cars, including a 99 Eldorado, good car,
Great
and
car.
a 2010 XKR? Okay.
Mm,
All right. So that 2010 Jaguar XKR Did they break away from Ford in 2010?
No,
No, it's a Ford
no.
Jag.
15 was the split away from when Tata bought them, I believe. 10 was okay. I think the XKR, if I recall, shared some bits and bobs with like the Aston, like the V8 Vantage. Not engine, but like I think there were some chassis similarities there. The 99 Eldorado is awesome. I love the Cadillac Eldorado. My boss has an 01 Eldorado that he bought for like $800, and it was really nice and super fun to drive until he realized like 2 days ago that the head gaskets went.
Cadillac
And
Eldorado. That's like
It is North Starring as
you're
hard
a
as it
fake
can.
rich guy
Yeah.
from Birdsboro.
And you have
Yeah,
chest
To-
hair.
And you're-
Tony lives. My boss
He
lives in
lives in
Birdsboro.
Bird-
He lives in Birdsboro. Like he doesn't know I'm on this,
You-
but
you-
he knows
you're-
about your channel, so like he could watch if he wanted
Yeah.
to. He could see this.
Yeah.
He lives in Birdsboro.
he thinks the KOP Mall is classy. He's taken. He has managed to get a girl or two on Bumble, and then takes
Ooh.
them to fucking PF Chang's in the KOP Mall.
Don't
and
you
that's
shit talk
classy.
PF Chang's. I like their
I haven't been
chicken.
to
Well, it
PF
is
Chang's in
authentic.
years. It's been years since I've gone to a PF Chang's.
I still like the South Park got it so right that you just go there and you just eat tons of stuff and then you shit an entire house.
Yeah.
Come on. Can't wait to be in this area again. Taking the SS Nasty on SEPTA going down.
Yeah.
SEPTA's not that bad.
No, it's okay.
I
It's-
didn't do any public transport while I was in Melbourne.
They have some.
Nick did. Okay. You know how media has the trolley?
Mhm.
They have those running everywhere.
That's cute.
So, but one of the dumbest, like what I can't get over about Australia, and maybe it's going to be different in Sydney when I go back another time, is that it's a country the same size, pretty much, as the lower 48,
Right.
but they like their British-sized roads,
Okay. So everything's
Meaning
really,
tiny.
tiny,
everything's
narrow.
kinda
Compact.
small
And they do
narrow
this
and-
weird thing. I don't know if they do it in any of the greater Philadelphia area, where a street with a bunch of businesses on it will have parking on the street from like 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. But outside those hours, no parking, and it's just a normal street. So
I
think,
feel like that happens around here.
yeah,
I feel like we have the opposite though.
I think they do that around here sometimes.
Like during like rush hour, you need the lanes.
During rush hour, they
open.
leave the lanes open,
Yeah.
and then you can park like overnight. But
Yeah.
yeah, during
Yeah.
the day you don't. Because there's a street in my neighborhood in Bridgeport that kind of does that. Because
Really?
I live I
Mm.
live off of Route 202,
Mm.
like DeKalb Pike in Bridgeport, and there's the right lane as you're coming down into town, like the two streets that Bridgeport
Yeah.
is. There's a right section of lane that's like parking only during certain hours.
Mm.
And so like when I'm on my lunch break and I go home, there's a bunch of cars parked there, but in the morning or when I'm going home, there's
Mm.
nothing.
Okay. Yeah, it confused me. I guess I've been
That's
in the
pretty
sticks
funny.
too long that you got to be, if you're in the slow lane, you're going to come to a stop. Like, watch out. There's some shops coming up. Get over.
Right. Like
'Cause
there
there's-
might be a stationary vehicle in front of you.
Just in,
yeah,
and
in a
because
travel
I'm
lane.
dealing with all of this drive from the correct side of the street. And suddenly there's a car there.
Yes.
Oh,
Like, oh,
Yes.
fuck.
that's a nice comment from
Or,
Adam.
you know the
Thank
row
you.
of stores on Manoa just before Route 3?
Uh-huh.
Same thing.
Yeah. That whole street to like there's the
Yes.
apartments along the side. Yeah.
So then I got
That's my friend Adam. We like Adam. Adam's lovely.
What did Adam say?
Adam said one time I saw that guy Curtis in Philly and we kissed in his Mercedes.
Okay, so I went to a gay bar in Melbourne. It was an very okay. The clientele, everybody's dads. So lots of gray hair, lots of gray mustaches, lots of no matter how much cardio I do, the belly's not going away. What was unique about this place? What was it called? Maddo, where did we go? Or anybody else? Where did we go? It had a single name. It was like Dungeon or the Rectory or
Oof.
it was industrial in the kind of like that old Simpsons bit, like, Dad, why did you bring me to a gay steel mill?
And it's like,
I don't know.
We work
Yeah.
hard, we
Yeah.
play hard. Dun, 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 dun.
I do
So-
remember.
I'm there. watching a man get tied up from the ceiling.
Did it go in counterclockwise?
Hot.
That's a good question. Was he dangling counter? So there's a man getting tied up by ropes from the ceiling. He had on the leather captain's
Darting
hat.
in front of
Oh,
the
sorry,
camera.
we have roadblocks.
Yeah, big roadblocks.
Need my other computer and delete the meeting.
Mm.
So he was wearing the classic leather vest, the classic leather cowboys like captain's hat, the leather thong. He was dangling in a Family Guy death pose, but upside down from the ceiling.
This was a high class place.
Yeah, and while Vogue by Madonna played.
Oh, boy.
Strike a pose. Yeah.
What,
So
what else do you play?
yeah. But what was unique
Portishead.
about this place is that they had a special consideration from the city of Melbourne diversity thing, where cis women are only allowed on certain days.
What? It's like the opposite of
It's just
discrimination.
like a dude's place. That it always existed that way.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. I'm looking for Jim as if it's going to help.
Well,
Yes.
fuck, I know
As the
about
ambassador
that.
for-
Really, a gay
But-
culture.
But I can tell you that there were.
I think
Why don't I just come over here
Do you want to sit on the?
Yeah.
rather than screaming from the peanut gallery?
Yeah.
It used to- It
No,
used
well,
to.
you
Used
mean,
to
even
sit
if he
here.
sat here, these mics will pick him up.
okay. It used to be that it was just known. And I'm talking about 30, 40 years ago. A, it was known. And B, if somebody came in and it was an encroachment on the territory, you know, like straight people coming into a gay bar and
Yeah.
they tell them to go
Oh my
fuck
God,
themselves.
we're going to the gay bar. My name's Jennifer.
Oh, yeah. Like when they used to have the bridesmaids going to P-Town because
Yeah.
they thought it was cool
Yeah.
and telling them to go shove it.
Yeah, come take the middle seat. I bet the mics will pick you up.
Okay.
I'll make sure they do.
I know they will. There's no way you can avoid that.
The guy saunas Toronto. The gay saunas in Toronto only let male presenting people in.
That's nice.
Reyes says, "Oh shit, it's Jim."
Oh shit!
Nana
It's
says,
still alive.
"Must have been next or a
somehow.
few doors
Still
down
alive?
from
Oh.
Yaya's." I was out with Nick when you went to Smith Street. So Smith Street is the gayborhood in Melbourne. If you guys ever plan on doing RCR UK series again, I'd love to nominate my Honda 600 Hornet motorcycle. Cool.
Ooh.
For you to review. Beater Show says, "Hi, Curtis."
Hi, Ryan.
Okay. Gosh, what is that place that we went to?
I'm gonna make a drink.
Not that it's matter. So I went there, and you could tell that the middle-age clientele overrode the gayness of this place, because all the conversations that I heard were about real estate, real estate and taxes and stuff. At the same time, the people, it was leather night. That's why the people, some of the people
Oh,
who I were
fun.
with were into leather, were into the latex and rubber suits. Inflation furs. So as I shout to Kurt in the other room, so that was the sort of thing, which I didn't know they made suits for, but not.
You didn't know
fur
they made
suits.
leather suits?
No, that inflate, inflate you
never-
big and round.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
oh, yeah.
yeah. So that's new. So we went to this place. The drinks were reasonable, and then we just sort of left. We just hung around, so I could say I went to a Melbourne gay bar. But I found Moondog World was way more fun. It was a brewery that allows puppers, but there's also what looks to be like a lazy river inside of it.
What?
Like it was like kind of like a wading pool, but there was ropes in front of it, so I don't know if it was just decorative or you're allowed to go in it.
Mm.
Everything's really super chill in Australia. Like we had,
We would never have that in America.
No.
It would be covered in signs that are like, "Don't fall in."
Yeah.
I worked in a Polynesian restaurant years ago, and they had like the brook going through the restaurant and this little bridge over it. You know, like we're talking uber tacky.
Yeah. Did little kids try to go in it or?
No, but there was a columnist who wrote for the Philadelphia Daily News who used to bring the lady du jour there, and they'd comp him for a good review.
Mm-hmm.
And he had too much to drink, and he leaned over the rail one night.
Now, Moondog World was amazing. I like how in Australia, every pub you go into has water readily available in big pitchers everywhere, and you just take the whole pitcher and bring it back to your table so you can hydrate as you hang out. The Australians seem to go for marathon style drinking as opposed to, we're going out, we're getting fucked up, and just go hard for like 3 hours. Even I asked that about there was an artist down there named shout out to Mudasor, that she says she's a American expat living in Melbourne for the past 15 years, and she said, yeah, the American furry scene is just doing like cross-fading hard liquor for a solid 4 hours, like going crazy and then blowing yourself up. Whereas the Australian thing is we start drinking at noon, but you take it easy the whole day. And that seemed like sort of thing. Every time I went out with people, no matter what the scene was, it was sort of like everybody's just buying each other beers, but they have their, metric imperial pints or what. I know that thing gets a case of the droopies.
Yeah, I was just
just loosen it, crank it, tight it.
Yeah, I just wanted to kind of get this more.
Yeah,
It's all right. I'll yell.
You don't have to yell.
I think
this thing's pretty gamed up. Actually, I think we're all right.
Yeah. If people say they can't hear Jim, they'll just say it.
That'll be a first.
Okay, we're doing a sound check here.
Yeah, I'm just listening. Yeah, I'm fine. You talk.
I can talk. You can hear me.
Yeah, we're good. Everything's fine. Yeah,
Awesome.
audio levels sound great.
Love those Audio Technicas. This is more of a directional mic that you have to have mic.
I had a vision when I was in the room pouring my rum and coke of like setting these up like a drum overheads on a kit, like having them up over here above us. That's too much.
We still.
I do have a direct.
I had to go out and buy some more.
No, there's a thing of rum in there.
Did you rum and coke? Is that what you did?
I did rum and Diet Coke.
That's my drink.
Would you like some?
Maybe.
All right.
I haven't eaten.
Oh well.
Well, it'll work even better then.
No,
not for poor blood sugar levels.
One hospitalization.
My diabetic body.
One hospitalization this week's enough.
I know.
Should go to questions. It's Matto says prints are the default, but schooners are okay. Yeah, pints are the default, but schooners are invading clubs slowly but surely. So it's like slightly less than a pint. It's like a skinny glass, the type that you would see a golfer's wife drink Michelob Ultra out of at the country club. Yeah. Mike says, Kurt, darling, will you need a ride back to your apartment later?
No.
Okay, that's your answer. It's no. Silly Zombie 666 says, if a furry has enough money, it will become real. Don't know what that means because they're referring to something else. The neat thing, when we had that secret car meet in the parking lot of the brewery, no one cared. Like there were like 12 fursuits running around, pushing each other in shopping carts, jackass style.
I hope you got pictures.
Oh, we got video.
Good.
Yeah, we got pictures and video. And that's going to be just inserted into RCR stuff as needed, including a well-known Twitch streamer down there named Z. Shout out to him. He's the reason I'm wearing a Bunnings shirt right now. His name on Twitch is Scribby Noodle, and he did a very good Australian version of Kunkelman Chevrolet.
Oh.
Yeah, in his delightful Australian accent.
This thing does need Viagra.
I know, right?
Like I have this thing tight. It's just got it has just a case of the sex. Like,
it almost leaves like it needs a counterweight.
Hang my bag. I was gonna say hang my bag on there.
That's a good idea. Counterbalance.
I really cranked on it. I think I got it. Oh, did you get
That's
it?
How about counterbalance? Use the bag.
just hang my bag on the other end.
Here.
Roger that. Get in the bag.
What is this? Oh, okay.
A counterbalance.
Those are my props for later.
Your props for later, like your stim toys.
Uh-huh.
Popping
Well, I'm
your-
glad we invested in a whole box of double A's.
Yeah, so like normies drove by and
It's like right in front of my face.
yeah, right in front of your face.
Just
Yeah,
it's okay. I can move it. I can maneuver.
You
it.
got it.
Yeah, I'll just play games with it until I'm
Okay.
content.
Be gentle.
Just kidding. Yeah, normies drove by, didn't care.
I got
They're whispering.
Sorry. I'm just.
They're
I'm
whispering.
trying to avoid shouting profanities on your live stream while you're telling a story.
I don't care. This is on regular enrollment, and
I
I'm not
understand.
reliant that much on this for revenue. Not when TikTok is actually paying now. So
Do they pay the bills?
yay.
Do you post on?
Yeah, double
respectfully don't
post
know.
like all my shorts where I'm trying to like DVDA it every year, every day. YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram all at the same time. The only weird thing is YouTube Shorts cap at a minute, Instagram
Oh.
caps at 130, and TikTok won't give you money unless they're over a minute.
Oh,
Yeah. So I'm like, well, YouTube, YouTube doesn't pay anything for shorts. Their CPM is terrible, and I see the super chats down there. So, YouTube, wherever it cuts it off, it cuts it off. And the whole reason is to just show the almighty algorithm that people are coming to regular car reviews. And I saw a 100% increase in revenue when I'm posting those shorts every single day. Anyway, business. Jake Hercules, I love your name, says, when you started RCR, you kept your face hidden. What did you do the reveal for? Well, I threw my renewal forms from the Pennsylvania State System of Education in the trash. When I started regular car reviews, I was still a licensed teacher in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and I didn't want to get fired for talking about my dick and balls on the internet. So I hid my face. And then once I started making enough money, I'm like, I'm not going to teach anymore. And there exists somewhere on Instagram or something, a series of pictures of the renewal paperwork for my level 2 certification falling in the trash. So yeah. And have you ever wanted to go back to an animate? No. It's too much work to hide your face, really. Yeen Idiot, love the name, with a very generous donation, 25. Hell yes, live stream. Just saw this, and I'm strapping in for the show. Strapping in. Scott's Moto Adventure said YouTube might be changing the shorts length too. Yeah, they were supposed to change it to 3 minutes. They did it for a hot second, and then they didn't. So who knows?
Don't you love when they do like really like soft launches of software updates and they don't tell you that they've updated something, but just something changes?
Yeah.
And you're like, that's weird.
Yeah.
And then it goes back after a couple days and you thought, I never updated the app. How did this happen?
like you're like being gaslit.
And you know
Yeah.
how this works because you do this for a job. I mean,
Yes,
you don't
I
do that.
personally am responsible for
Right.
all
Well,
of
you don't
the
do
app
that,
development
but,
stuff
like,
that.
I mean, as a whole.
Yes,
like,
that's
you've done
true.
that. Like
Yes.
you've seen that. I'm sure you've seen that. In your
Well, they're
profession.
usually. God, I don't know how many programmers are probably in the chat who are just gonna at me, but
Well,
usually
furries run the internet, so
Yeah.
usually they're A/B testing something,
Right.
and they're trying to see like, oh, does this some analytics person
Yeah.
with a business degree
But,
is
like,
like,
how do
oh,
you-
no, I don't trust your degree in user experience. Instead, we would like data to support
Yeah.
the theory that this button is better in the upper
Right.
right corner versus the
Right.
lower corner,
Okay.
and it just trolls people.
Yeah,
it just
and
trolls
it's
people.
because so how does one do that? I guess because everything that we use
It
on our
depends.
phones,
It
like
depends.
apps and stuff on our phones are all server based anyways, right?
Fun
so
fact.
you can make changes that don't require a software update for them
So-
to happen.
so-
Because like I'll be
yes.
on Facebook and I'll open Facebook one day and I'll go to like muscle memory where the marketplace button is, and suddenly I'm in Facebook dating. I'm like, I don't even remember that being an option.
So
Like, how did I get here? And then 3 days later, it's gone. I'm like, who did that?
so
Like,
Splitwise,
Facebook
dating?
anal expand.
Yeah.
What does it say? Are you available? Yes, and then
yes,
they go.
yeah. Hi, are you available? No response.
Splitwise is how like I usually keep track of expenses with people, and they pushed out an update that made it mandatory for not mandatory, but like they really tried to push people into the $4.99 subscription. I don't remember what their model was, but they wanted money out of me, and it's just a math calculator. And I was like, I'm not doing this, and I never updated the app, so I never like I can infinitely like they cap you at the number of transactions, I guess, that you can post per day.
Mhm.
And they literally like if I just never update the app, I never have to pay them. And it's not that I don't believe in the app. If anybody has it, like you should definitely buy it. But like I'm not buying it right now because I didn't update the app. So
Yeah.
I'm avoiding a feature by not
Refusing. I know a lot of
updating.
people that do that.
yes.
I ran
I
into
know.
somebody I was talking to someone the other day. I like sent a message in a group chat and I was like, is anyone having problems with Telegram and iOS 18 or whatever?
Do you
like
have auto
Telegram not
updates?
updating? Of course I do. Because I'm
What? Who? You just
Corey.
say yes, like of course I do. Are
Corey.
you serious?
Corey. I am the most.
Oh my God.
I am the consumer that every developer dreams about, like wet dreams, because I'm a
I'm
blind
like dying
consumer
inside.
with everything. I just say yes.
Do
Whatever it
you
is,
do you remember?
I run with it. I buy the new tech. I do the thing when something new comes out. I do it. When I buy my computers, like I'm a big Mac guy because I don't care. I don't change things.
Gay.
I just buy. Yeah, it's the rainbow. It means I'm gay. I buy the computer and I use it exactly how it's intended out the box.
And
I
I'm-
change nothing. I don't question updates.
I'm
I just fucking
jealous.
run that shit.
I
don't
want
care.
that level of
And
ignorance.
so, yeah, well,
I
because
want
you
that
know the
level.
wrong
I
end. You
know
the dark side.
too much.
You know too much.
I
I know
know.
fuck all. So
I
I just say
know.
whatever. But you can see how my knowledge
know.
applies to elsewhere in life, because look
know.
at the way I make decisions about cars. I refuse to buy the new thing because I know how
Oh,
bad
I'm the
it is.
same.
I know how awful it is. So I go, oh, I don't want any part of that. I don't want anything to do with
So-
this because they've made it so much worse. But when it comes to my phone, I'm like, auto update that thing. I don't want to know.
I don't
I
have time to deal with
I don't
this.
care what changes. But I had a friend. I was like, yeah, I'm on the fresh iOS 18.0. Like we're round one of the public
Of the AI
release, not
thing.
beta release, but public release.
Okay.
And I was like, Telegram's really laggy. Does anyone know? And my friend was the first one to respond. He's like, I don't know. I'm still on like iOS 14 with like an iPhone 8. He's like,
He's maxed
he's like,
out.
I don't care.
Yep.
And I'm
yep.
like, you don't like auto update? He's like, nah. He's like, this one works fine. Why do I need to update? I'm like, huh? How do you do that? But I have, it's the same thing where I look at people that buy brand new cars. I'm like, how do you do that?
I'm the same
I
about
can't.
new
I'm like,
cars.
how can you stand
Can
that?
you imagine walking and respectfully for people who love dealerships,
If you like new
like
cars,
great,
good for you.
Keep auto updating your car. But for like people who know, like, I don't know, like I have a 2013 Subaru. And I'm like, this is too new. This is not.
That's
it's
pretty new.
too
You
much.
have like auto headlights and stuff. That's a lot.
No, I don't have. No, I still
Really?
flip
The
the switch.
Subaru doesn't have
Oh, but I
auto
have daily
headlights?
driving. They do come on automatically
You have daytime
for
running
daytime
lights.
driving.
I
Yes.
learned like a
Yes.
couple days ago that the Sequoia has daytime running lights because I was in a parking lot at night and my truck was full of wheels like a few days ago. So it's like the rear springs are worn out. So it's like I got the kind of a Carolina lean going. It looks like I've done a front level kit, not the rear. And so my daytime running lights are right in this lady's window, like it's like windshield across the parking lot from me, and I can't turn them on. And I was like, why does this have daytime running lights in 2002?
Oh,
Yeah.
I disabled mine
I
on
looked
my
up how to do
Forerunner.
it. There's a plug right behind the battery, and you just unplug them.
You
They
just
never
unplug
turn
it,
on
yeah.
again. Yeah, they never.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah,
like,
the daytime running lights are just like the ones they did on the Subaru, where all it is your low beam sent
just like
through a
half
resistor.
voltage. Yeah.
A big fucking resistor with a heat
and
sink on
the
it.
only way you can turn the daytime running lights off like manually is if you run the parking brake. And my Sequoia, if you know anything about Toyotas made ever, is really close to being in several pieces if I hit a bump wrong.
Excellent.
And so the parking brake cables are both completely rotted out. So the parking brake cable just like flump to the floor. If you push it, no one's home. There's a cable just under
manual?
the truck. Yeah, there's a pedal.
But no. Is it a manual transmission?
No, it's a Sequoia.
Oh,
they
so
didn't
you can't.
offer them.
Oh,
I can't like put it in
That's
gear,
like
but like the
that's
only
true,
way the
that's true.
DRLs turn off is if you put the parking brake on. So I just like one click in with the parking brake because it does nothing.
Is your
The
light
cable's
on?
Just like
Is the parking brake warning light on?
It was for a little while until I unplugged the thing.
But Brian, do you remember when I got my Subaru and
But I have like 8 other lights on the dash too. So,
all right.
And I drove it up to your parent. We went to your parents' house because I said my high beams or my regular beams are really low. They're like really aimed at the ground. And you lifted the light up. Like we talk about people on the highway who are like blasting everybody with their high beams. But like you kept ratcheting mine up, and up.
Yeah.
And I was like, this seems really high. And you're like, who fucking cares? Like, now you can see it's for safety.
Yeah, I just recently I ran into that with the Mercedes. I love aiming headlights.
I've done that with every single car I've home. Take my low beams, just a little more.
Yeah, just a little
more.
And that's how that's what I did with the Benz because like
So
I know that
annoying.
there's like there's a machine like any inspection station they have the thing you put in front of the car and it like
is that
aims your
true?
headlights for you. But ours is broken at work, so I just I literally just was driving down the highway and I look at the headlights. I'm like, yeah, I'm not really happy with those. So I would the next time I stopped, I would just like one turn up for both of them, and then I drive and go, yeah, a little more, and then
more.
And then I got to the point where I'm driving down the road and I'm like, okay, those are too high. I was like, those are definitely like I can see the color of the person's eyes in the car in front of
Or
us.
when
I'm
you're,
like, I was
or
like, we'll bump those down a
when
little
the
bit.
I-95 exit sign 8 miles down the road is
Is
lighting up with
lighting
your,
up.
and you're like,
Maybe we're good. When I had separately adjustable low beams and high beams on the BMW, I would do that with the low beams, and then with the high beams, I would park, like I'd find a lifted pickup truck in my neighborhood and would park behind it, like at about following distance, and aim the high beams like right at mirror height, because the bane of my existence as somebody who used to own a bunch of lowered cars is like low beams on pickup trucks are like at eye level for you. And it's unavoidable. And you could definitely fix that. Like truck owners could definitely give a shit enough to re-aim their headlights so they don't blind people, but they don't. And so my source of revenge is when I'm just being blinded by somebody with their high beams on, is I just get behind them and I burn their retinas.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
"How you like it?"
But
it's not nice. I don't do that anymore.
I also learned that on my Subaru, there's a little dial in the bottom left
On the dash.
where
It
you
levels
can,
the headlights.
but like it's based on cargo or
Correct.
passengers.
Yeah, so like if
That's
you
insane.
load
What
down
a
the rear, you can
useless
just like click
feature.
the wheel.
No,
a little bit.
nobody's touching that button.
Well,
Nobody's doing
so
that.
my Mercedes has
What do you have, an elephant in the back?
self-leveling suspension. So
Oh, sorry.
you either
My
got
apologies.
auto leveling headlights or self-leveling suspension, but not both. You couldn't have both options during the 210 era, obviously, because if you had self-leveling suspension, it negates
the need for that.
right. But
That's
then
the
the last time I worked on the Mercedes, I adjusted the self-leveling suspension because it was always kind of saggy. So I raised the toilet bowl float in the rear so that it sits higher,
Certain-
and then my headlights were like pointed straight at the ground again. So I'm like,
bring them up. Bring them up for
Bring 'em back
safety.
up
For
for
safety.
safety.
We got a question here. Super chat from Ray's Wilford. Thank you. Said, I learned to drive stick on a Subaru Legacy GT
Ooh.
that for some reason the headlights would flicker unless I kept the parking brakes slightly on.
That's pretty cool.
That's a cross wire somewhere.
That's a nice feature.
yeah.
I like that. That sounds like a really well-engineered automobile.
Shout out to one of the friends from Australia. Envy is here. And Envy is Mitch. Is Envy the guy who worked? We had one of the friends in the group down there works for Toyota of Australia and was trying to get us a Mirai, the hydrogen car. Now, that one was down in Australia for test and tune and promotional purposes, but it was loaned out to someone else.
There was one for sale here.
A Mirai?
Yeah.
What the hell?
I don't know.
We don't
I
have a
just-
hydrogen infrastructure in Philadelphia.
Correct. I just saw it on Marketplace and it was for sale in Jersey, and it was like California market car for sale. And it's like there's one
Why is
like
it
the guy
here?
in the ad, he was like, "Here's where the one hydrogen station is that you can fill this up at."
There
Like-
is one in Pennsylvania?
or two, yeah,
Hmm.
somewhere. Not here, not anywhere near where you'd be driving ever, but if you were, I guess
Medical
good for you.
supplies. place?
Matto said,
Yeah.
Do you know
Evo
how
and
much hydrogen
Astra
you have to
owner
pump into
is
those things?
Envy.
Quite a bit.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
This is probably a naive question, but is hydrogen expensive? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know.
is
I
it
didn't look-
is it expensive because we don't have the infrastructure for it, so therefore it's like rare and difficult to get because one guy in Oklahoma makes it, or is
I don't
it expensive? Or yeah, okay.
Couldn't tell you.
Also, dumb
Yeah.
like question, but like, isn't it in the air?
Yeah. Well,
Also, water.
Also water.
yeah.
Right.
Also
Yeah.
water. Great.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's
water.
lots.
There's a lot
Also
of, there's
water.
Yeah,
Yes.
not water. Water.
They were also
Did I
saying,
say-
No,
I'm a water person.
I'm a water person because I'm not from here.
Yes, but
Well, we're both not from here.
huh? Oh, water.
water.
Are you
yeah.
a water person?
Can I have a glass of water? Water? I switch in water.
Jimmy's or sprinkles?
Sprinkles.
Follow
Jimmy's
water.
is stupid.
Now I said
If you
water.
call him Jim, it's stupid as fuck.
They're Jimmy's.
Fuck, it's the dumbest thing in the world.
You don't know.
I've decided that the rainbow ones are sprinkles and Jimmy's are the brown ones.
I've heard the other way around.
or maybe I'm saying it
I've heard it
maybe I'm
backwards.
backwards.
I've heard that the rainbow ones are Jimmy's. And
Okay.
the chocolate ones are just sprinkles.
Okay.
But then he told me that they're all Jimmy's. But I
Hmm.
think he's full of shit. So.
No, I'm full of Jimmy's.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hydrogen is crazy expensive when they use
Oh!
electrolysis to separate hydrogen from water.
Ooh,
Okay, well,
thank
that
you,
tracks.
smart person.
Thank you. I was kind of unsure. I knew that the byproduct of hydrogen cars was like water. I knew that that's what happens.
Mhm.
115 to go 90 miles. Well, you know, the infrastructure's just not there yet. That's-
Okay, well, yeah, we're working on it. We'll get
No,
there.
I'm totally kidding.
$150 to go 90 miles.
Hyundai's doing it too. Hyundai has
That's
two
what-
hydrogen cars.
yeah.
Well, they have a
Interesting.
hydrogen car currently that's also California market only, and then they
Yeah.
have another one coming out.
I
soon.
get it. You're gonna have to find that fossil fuel won't last forever. You got to do something and get the ball rolling now. Bleh.
When will we cycle back around to coal again?
Coal
Coal
gas.
burning cars.
Ooh, clean coal.
Yeah.
Kill
Yeah,
coal. That's
yeah.
That guy goes said mozzarella sticks or cheese curds. That guy
Cheese
has to be
curds.
from Australia. The two are two completely different things.
Cheese curds.
Or I guess they're just asking what people like. The Games Head Gun says, Mr. Regular, are you familiar with the Edison Motor Guys in British Columbia, Canada, building diesel electric heavy duty vocational trucks? Interesting. So you just have a big generator in there.
Oh, I see you, Matt, with your steam powered cars. Everyone remembers the Stanley Steamer. That was
Yeah.
that was a choice. Remember, we were at the show. What was that? Don't say it. Hagley. The Hagley
Oh,
Museum.
Hagley's a
And
treasure.
Anna was
Yes.
freaking out because there's like 8 Stanley Steamers that are like still left rolling around in the world, and there was like 4 of them
aren't
were in
Lenos.
Hagley.
And we learned that certain clutches were made of cork.
We did also learn at the same
Well, of
time that,
course.
that
You
Hudson
say, of course.
that Hudson
Well,
uses
Hudson,
cork
yes,
clutches.
of
And you know what I thought was crazy? And I didn't know until like in my head, I'm picturing, okay, so like clutch disc has like, 4 or 5 of those big pucks of
Yes.
the asbestos
Oh,
friction material.
yeah.
So I was thinking that they
Of course.
took cork and just like
Chopped it
stamped
big.
it out into
No.
those pieces. Nope. They took wine corks and just sliced
Correct.
them up
They're
and
little
glued
circles.
them to the backing
Absolutely.
plate
Yes.
and just sandwiched them like a friction disc. I'm
Yes.
like, that's so wrong.
But why?
And it was,
Why?
and it was a wet clutch.
It was a
too.
wet
And
clutch.
had
They were
special
moist.
Oh.
Hudson clutch oil.
I
Yeah,
know.
which I think is insane. And as of course as Jim says, oh, they were fine as long as you took care of them. But like anything's fine as long as you take care of it.
No, that's Telegram.
Yeah, I know. I just
Also, cars back then only they had the lifespan of like 80,000 miles.
that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah,
conversation that he and I had too. Is
Yeah.
it was like, oh, they were really reliable and they
Yeah.
lasted forever. And I was like, okay, but forever for a car back then was like a couple years.
Yeah, you're talking about communities that are separated by railroad tracks, and you just you pork to the girl next door, and that's it. Oink, oink, oink.
Mhm.
And then keep the genes in the family,
right.
and everybody has Steve Buscemi eyes.
And today, those people still live there.
Yeah.
Oh
Yes.
my
Those
God.
families haven't moved.
Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
same cars.
Same cars. Well, yeah.
Well, the other thing too is that in that era, the cars were improving so fast
Yeah,
that the difference with 5 years was like night and day.
Yeah, that is another fair point. Is like every year, like vast improvements were made,
yeah.
which is astonishing, despite the amount of drugs and alcohol that were being abused
Right.
while they were designing them.
Yeah,
Well, the point is they figured out how to put 17 ashtrays in a car.
yeah.
That is
You know,
true.
so the kid didn't have to reach too long.
Right,
Yeah.
the kid didn't have to reach far to ash a cigarette.
Like
Yeah.
the one in the back seat in the Dodge.
Oh, I love the one in the back. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
right in
one,
the seat.
Yeah.
right in the middle.
Yep.
Yeah,
So if
right in the middle of the back seat that's full of horsehair, mind
Yes.
you.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like ash is really close to super flammable stuffing.
Mhm.
Good
So-
proximity.
So
there.
if
I like
cars
that.
back then were rapidly like going through massive remake every year and just improvements and innovation, we all kind of cringe at new cars now.
Yeah.
Mm.
But do you think that we are entering a different era of like the safety plateau?
Safety
Safety
plateau.
plateau?
like cars can't get any safer than they are currently.
Mm.
Kind of a
Maybe
thing,
I'm not saying it
or-
correctly, but like the idea to clamp down so hard on safety mandates and emissions mandates, I feel like, and this is just what I see in the market, but like I feel like has pushed manufacturers to start to borrow parts, like to start to just have the same chassis for everything and the same
Mm.
part for everything, and the handle is the same, and like to just kind of unify, to just get the unicar, because for cost reasons, for
That
many,
makes
like I'm
sense.
just guessing, but I also feel like Subaru, Brian, you and I have talked about this, where like they just gave up on fun at a certain point, and they were like, we only make cars for grandparents now,
Yeah.
and they just
Yeah.
stamp them out, and
The
it's the
second they
same
made
thing.
the crosstrek.
Yeah,
I know.
that was kind of that was
I
that era. And
know.
I worked for Subaru around that era, so I remember seeing that. That was kind of that was
Yeah.
pretty entertaining. When I'm like, oh, these are the same car. I'm
But, like,
Yeah.
I would look out across the service drive at Foresters and Outbacks and Imprezas
I
and
know.
Crosstreks. I'm like, that's just the same car. It was all
Yeah.
4 of them.
Have we
over there.
plateaued? Because
Oh.
now Subaru's sleeping with Toyota. I guess
Right.
car manufacturers are always sleeping with each other, but like,
Yeah.
but I really feel a push to optimize production
Mhm.
today,
Well,
and I
certainly
see it.
consolidation.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Within the marks.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I don't think that's maybe the worst decision from that standpoint. But I don't know. I mean,
Is
for
Toyota
like
bringing
for
back
cars
the
that you don't care
MR2?
about, if it's a bunch of just like whatever, like if there's the appliance versus this
That's a
is
good
fun
point.
kind of thing.
That's a good point.
And so for the sake of making an appliance, like I don't really give a shit if you stamp the fridge
And
the
the-
same way for 18 different
And the
models.
person
It's
buying the
still a
fridge doesn't care
They
either.
don't give a
Yeah,
shit.
exactly.
Their fridge keeps their shit cool, and that's all that matters.
Mhm.
Well, the other thing too is if it's a lease,
Oh.
so much
Also
of this-
true. That's
yeah,
a lot.
if it's a
I know.
lease,
Huge market. Yeah.
yeah,
Who
well,
cares?
yeah, well, the
I'm
point
getting
is-
a new fridge in 3 years anyways.
That's the whole point. In other words, it's truly an Amana.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, somebody in here just said my LS400 has an ashtray in each back door. Correct.
Awesome.
My first car was a 97 LS400.
Mhm.
It not only has an ashtray in each back door, but there's a cigarette lighter in each back door as
Hell
well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So there's one in the armrest, one in the front ashtray, and then one in each rear door, which means every single person can have their phone plugged in simultaneously.
I was just gonna say,
Oh,
yeah.
Which
nice.
will absolutely blow the fuse. I tried.
Oh,
Yeah.
excellent.
It blows the shit out of the fuse. But
Well,
it's
because you
okay.
were only
Right, because
lighting your cigarette for a
you light your
second.
cigarette one at
Yes.
a time.
That's
like,
hilarious.
all four people are
Oh my
not
God.
lighting their
Yeah.
yeah. Well, if all four people are charging their phones at 30 amps at the same
Mm.
time,
Poof.
fuse says, "I'm out. I'm done. I'm good on that." So, but yeah, it is a good car, a lovely car. I loved that LS400. Mine was a coach edition. It was the
Mm.
green. It was the green. It had like the ivory colored badges
Mhm.
and the green
Ooh.
interior. And I did not have any of the accessories. I wish I did. I didn't have the coach bag because it came with like a luggage set.
Oh,
It came with a
Wait.
luggage set that was coach
No.
branded, and all kinds of shit. And of course, I was like the 11th owner of the car, so and all
Yeah,
that shit.
okay,
That
yeah.
ship sailed with the original owners, you know.
Mhm.
And that car came from Lexus of Beverly Hills, was where that car
Really?
was originally sold. So
Nice.
somebody like
Yeah.
bought it new, and they
Yeah.
didn't let any of that. They didn't let any of that slide. But it's cool. Like Coach was embroidered on the side of the armrest. So when you opened the door on the side of the leather armrest,
my
there was the
God.
Coach emblem.
Mhm.
so
It was absurd. If my mom didn't know I was gay back then, I sought that car out. I looked at like 8 LS400s and then I found a Coach edition one. I'm like, that's the
This
one.
one.
And she's
Yeah.
like, it's kind of more expensive and not as nice as the other ones. I'm like, I don't care.
shut up. I don't
It's
want
green
yeah.
on green. I don't care. It's green on green. It's a Coach edition.
I went to a Coach store the other day.
How was it?
Well, I didn't.
What is a Coach store?
Okay, yeah. So
No,
I was
where
gonna.
they
I was.
sell-
I was like,
it's
I
where
have
they
to.
sell the
My
Coach
disclaimer is,
stuff,
I'm
leather.
not gay.
Right.
So
Well,
right, but like
you might as well be.
I
But,
know.
like,
I know
You're gay adjacent.
I'm gay
Yeah.
adjacent. So I went to the Coach store and I was like, it's too white. Oh, it's too pink. Oh, it's got too many sparkles on it. And I was just kind of like, whatever.
What's in this store? What is
It's
leather?
it's like going to an
well, like,
Apple
you know,
store,
Coach.
but
you know, like Coach is the handbag
Yes.
maker.
Oh,
it's like
okay.
right.
It's
And
a
I didn't
handbag
forgive my
store.
ignorance, but
Yeah.
I didn't know that I was like, Coach bag. Yes, this is the bag store. I will go in here, obviously. And I was like, these are expensive. And it had a lot of tailors in it.
Mhm.
Oh, Mom, can you buy me this bag? Like it was a lot of
okay.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
but the Coach bags used to wear like iron.
Mm,
So
Yes.
beautifully made, but you could get like 10 years out of a pocketbook.
I see.
Yeah. See, that
My
was
mom had them.
Yeah, that's how, and that was the perk almost of buying the Coach
I should have
edition
left
for
her
the
in her
LS100
Mm,
because it was Coach leather. So that was the big deal. Like not only was it
I didn't know.
heard
not
that
only
term.
was it the
didn't know.
thing stamped on the seats and they sold
like,
you
these are
luggage with it, like,
expensive.
but they
yeah,
actually
the
they
bag will
used
last an eternity,
Coach
just
supplied
like
the
you.
leather that they upholstered the interior with. So the Coach edition cars, the interiors are always in fantastic shape compared to
Not
like, the
her.
other
That's
second
true.
gen
You're right.
cars.
Mhm.
But yeah, green, like light green. It was like a sage green, like a light silvery green exterior with a sage green interior. Is very
Mhm.
gay.
Nice.
It's excruciatingly gay.
Well, it's almost like my friends going for the designer edition Lincolns.
Yeah,
Except
yeah, the
like the Bill
Cartiers,
The Bill
and-
Glass.
Yeah,
Mm,
Don't you have an acquaintance or a friend?
Yes.
Hold on. And
Yes.
He only buys cars based on the he doesn't only buy cars, but he has a very particular desirability for in the interior.
that does. I don't know.
We had lunch with him
Oh, did
after
Oh shit.
We had lunch with him. What show?
him and his wife. He has German cars.
Oh, I know exactly who it is.
Hans.
Oh,
and
yes.
Ian.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you.
That after the
He
that
has
was the
some wicked
main line
interior
thing,
cars.
yes.
That was the main line. Yeah, he has that. Oh, he has that W210 that I want so fucking bad. It's a manual 98. It's a straight six.
Oh, okay.
Straight six manual transmission, and it's a Designo car. So like wine red exterior with this like same matching wine red cloth interior.
Yeah,
Ooh.
It's decked out.
It's beautiful. And that was the car I saw. I saw that car when I first moved here. We went to dinner with them. Like I just lived in Pennsylvania for 3 minutes, and we went to dinner with them. And I was like, I am in the process of buying a W210 wagon that is gray on gray, probably the most inspiring color combo that you can think of, compared to his like custom.
His European?
Yeah, it was one of the import cars. They didn't make manual 210s in the States. You couldn't buy them, and you couldn't get the Designo interior.
No,
in the
and I
US
was
either.
And I remember talking to him too, because I was talking about the POW, and he was like, "How much did you pay for this?" And I
Uh-huh.
like told him what I paid for it. And he was like, "That is too many dollars." He was like, "Next time you buy a
Well,
POW,
because
I will do better." And
that's
I was
true.
like, "Oh, I mean, he
Was
probably
that
is."
the guy from
no,
Tiki Bunny?
because he
No,
he just
no.
Oh.
Although somebody should buy his Opti, because otherwise I will. Did he
Yeah.
sell it yet?
Because,
Oh,
like,
he didn't
him
sell it
and-
yet. He still has
It's
it. But
still
he's
for
buying.
sale.
He's buying more stuff.
Yes, he is. I saw he has a cappuccino
Mhm.
of, is it red? I think.
There's
Mhm.
now enough room in the garage, right?
Oh, in your garage here, yeah, for a cappuccino.
Don't
Whoa.
do it. Can I be your driver?
Hey,
for it?
Corey, yeah.
Cappuccino, if that thing's manual, then you get that. You get a turbo. Cappuccino's turbo.
Regularly? Like normal? It is just it is a turbo engine?
Let me double check. Let's see who gets
Corey,
there
the next time
first.
you come out here
The
for a car
chat
show-
are all.
I
have a
Suzuki
car show on
Cappuccinos
Thanksgiving.
Turbos.
That's right.
Oh, you're coming to
We're
that,
gonna do
right.
that if it's yeah.
Mhm.
I'll show up for that.
I
if
love
it's
waking
not
up at 5
dreary.
a.m. to go. If it's not ass
If
weather.
it's not super ass, yeah, because there's like a 108% chance that the weather will suck shit.
It always
that day
is on
because
Thanksgiving.
it's Thanksgiving
Yes.
in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be cold.
It'll be cold. Sure,
The cold, I don't
is
mi- the cold's fine.
if it's wet.
Oh, forget it. Nothing shows up.
Because
Yeah.
both well
Yes,
nothing
yes.
will show up, and your pal and
I
the
can't drive it.
57 Dodge both have like the
Oh, the heat. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I don't even
heat.
care. I don't
Oh, I
even
do
give
have
a
heat.
shit about the heat not
Oh, you
working.
did tell
You
me about
have
the
heat.
heat.
I don't have heat. I don't care. I'll wear a jacket, but that car has the fidelity of a colander. Like I will be wet if it's raining outside. It rains inside. Like I don't want to.
The answer is
wet.
yes. All Suzuki Cappuccinos are turbos.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna go mix myself something else and fill up
Another-
my
I
water.
did not know that. All I know is that I used to play Gran Turismo
Right.
2, and
Yeah.
you always had to do all the time trials with the
Wow.
cappuccino. And I think
Yeah.
the developers were just trolling the people.
Oh my
playing
God.
the game,
100%, yeah.
So my question, cappuccino, is that smaller than
The POW.
the?
Yeah.
No, not the POW. What was the
The Opti.
Opti? Is it smaller than the Opti?
Yeah.
I
Can
don't,
we-
I don't have
But
either.
The next time you bring the POW here, can we put it in the garage?
Yes,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
try.
It will fit.
It will
Because
fit.
now that the
guarantee.
garage is cleared out of all the room,
Oh.
thank you, Chris. You're not watching this, but thank you, Chris.
Thank
now that the
thank
garage-
all of you.
Well, I'll send him a
now that
link.
the garage is cleared
Should I
out.
just spam the link to him?
No,
Is he busy?
Now,
probably.
Too bad.
My question.
Okay.
Well, my question is, on these cars, can both John and I fit all four of our thighs in it?
No.
In the POW?
Yeah. Well,
Or beside the POW if you're trying to.
no, I'm saying
meander
like
around
if
it.
it was something like of that size, if it was a K car,
I feel like in the Opti you could.
maybe with enough
You
lube.
could.
How
We
many
have
people
to,
are
like-
watching this? 55. Should I dox Jim's address in the live stream to give it to Victor so he can get here instead of texting it to him directly?
Well,
1411. I'm kidding.
does Victor have the address?
I just texted him.
Okay, good. Oh, that's what he's going to be here for dinner too.
Right. Well,
Good.
maybe not dinner, but he'll be here.
Well, because it's going to take a while for dinner.
I understand.
Tell him to show up. Do you think?
No, I know he's going to show up.
Oh, I know
here.
he's gonna
I'm just
show.
about to. I want to say words to you that I'm not going to say on the live stream. So, like,
Oh,
All right.
all right.
I want.
You know what I can do? You know, there's a really easy solution.
there a
to this?
mute?
There is a mute button.
But there's.
I'm confused because they're not mutually exclusive.
they're not.
One's an hors d'oeuvre.
Oh, excellent.
And that was almost superfluous. I had known that was.
Veronica and Kit have a beat.
Oh, they're not in. Oh,
They're not in.
I don't know if they
I
are.
could tell them. I don't know. I didn't
Tell 'em it's
post to
Sabbath.
multiple enough channels. I should do that now. I'm gonna go Instagram live on my phone just till more people come in here. My poops were really hard in Australia. I had to force them out. Where is live?
I would
Where is
absolutely
live?
shit the bed laughing if that didn't. Well, I know it muted because I know how a mixer works and I watched the signal drop out. But it would be really funny if I pushed a bunch of buttons and nothing
We are.
happened.
Oh no!
It's okay. I
on-
know we're all good. I feel like someone would also have said something about that if I was just
Yeah. Abort!
yeah. I just leave.
Simultaneously.
Well, it would have been stating the obvious anyway when you hit the mute button.
Right.
Gee,
That's why I
I'm-
turned because I was like, no one needs to read my lips and say,
Yeah, it's like, you mean I really didn't know.
I'm still like reeling from the fact that the cappuccino is turbo. Like,
what's like
What?
a little like turbo?
is
Maybe
it like
not.
the
Do you
Figaro is
think
turbo?
I'd like to talk John into one of those. It's like, hi, I didn't die, so can I get a car that neither of us can fit in?
You can fit in it, and I actually found the Opti to be quite roomy when we drove it.
It was a fine car. It's not manual.
It
Oh,
is
we're double
devoid of soul.
podcasting?
Yeah,
Someone just replied double podcast. We've got
yeah.
the-
That's the name of the
That's-
game now because I have
Ooh.
almost 200 Instagram followers or 200,000 Instagram followers.
Oh,
So now I have to make sure that everybody who watches Instagram but doesn't watch the YouTube channel knows that we're live. So this is Regular and Roman, the second YouTube channel that we're broadcasting on YouTube, taking your questions there. I'm just having this on Instagram so everybody knows. And if I'm smart, I will flip the camera around. So you're going to want to go on YouTube. It's our second channel where we fuck around a lot. It's called Regular and Roman. Can I zoom in? Yes, I can. That's what you want to go to.
Yippee.
Regular and Roman. Go to this channel on YouTube.
What was I doing?
Regular and Roman. Go to this channel on YouTube. I'm gay. Regular and Roman. Go to this channel on YouTube. It's called Regular and Roman. You're gay if you go there. It's called Regular and Roman. Go there. Go there. You're going to get fired from your job if you go to Regular and Roman. Your parents will leave you if you go to Regular and Roman. Regular and Roman is where we live stream this YouTube channel. Not regular
It's like
car
the
reviews, but
turkey when
Regular
you
and
bend
Roman.
over to
You go to
fill
Regular
the
and
parts.
Roman,
Yeah.
and you're going to get fired from your job. Go to Regular and Roman and get fired from your job.
That's always
And
easy
lose your
when you see the
position.
thing
You won't
pop
have
out
health
of the
insurance
turkey's
anymore if you
asshole.
go to Regular and
And
Roman.
you know that everything's done.
correct. Yes.
There we go.
They put the butter in Butterball.
Envy says
Stop.
boost. Steve Scamus says watching both streams live. That's funny. So the shirt I'm wearing.
Yes, tell us about your shirt.
Yes.
It's gay.
This was
Yes.
given. It's so gay. It is given to me by Z, aka Scribby Noodle, on Twitch. I traded him a Bucky's hat for it.
Important.
This-
Very important.
This is from Bunnings. Bunnings is the Australian Home Depot with the loyalty that we give Wawa.
Okay.
So
Oh, wow.
that's their that's Bunnings is Australia's
And they
thing.
have apparel.
They do.
Okay.
And this is just a canvas shop shirt.
Yeah, it's very Australia though. Like just the pattern is very Aussie.
It's very cheap hotel. It's
Yeah.
very hotel carpet or
yeah,
city
golfers
bus.
in.
Yep.
No, nothing compares to
Oh, but
golfers
that's
in.
close. The color palette.
No, the color palette, but the point is it isn't flocked and half of it isn't falling apart.
It says this shirt. They do your regular high vis stuff,
Yeah.
and then they do the funky patterns.
That's high vis.
This one is they did a special run of them. Where does it say it? It says somewhere on here.
What's the QR code in your pocket for?
I don't know. I never went to it.
Oh.
Okay, can I do it?
Yeah,
Let me do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
I can do it from here too. I got
Really?
that big zoom.
What does that get you with discount at a gay bar?
Open in Firefox.
Okay.
I use Firefox because I'm a furry.
For all the dads out there, Bunnings
I
is the
also
real
use
life
Firefox,
equivalent
but
of,
I care about
of Hammer
security.
Barn from Bluey. If you saw that episode
What
where they
is
go
it?
to
Oh, it's oh, this is funny. It's the brand Trade Mutt. Oh, I like that name. I like that it's called.
I
Trade
don't know
Mutt.
if it's furry or not. That would
I
be
understand that that's
wild
cool.
if Bunnings said yes to a furry design
Yeah,
shirt
but
nationally.
it's yeah, that's pretty neat. Yeah, workwear designed to start conversations about mental health, making an invisible issue impossible to ignore.
Oh,
Cool.
Yeah.
I like to shop our new collection. I'm gonna browse this for a little while. You guys keep
Yeah,
talking.
okay. To see if Trade Mutt and
This is cute.
Bunnings ships
These guys are
internationally.
cute too.
Very.
These are nice looking
Yeah,
models that they have.
definitely.
Would you raise? I'm going to close Instagram now.
Oh,
Everybody on
yeah.
Instagram,
You know.
go to Regular and Roman on
Mhm.
YouTube to continue watching this. So closing this now. It's funny. There's an equal amount of people watching on Instagram as on YouTube, but I'm closing the Instagram now. Ray said, would you ever go to a motel and see that not only do they have a no smoking sign, but they also have ashtrays in the rooms and somehow there's cigarette burns in the blanket? Yeah, like Motel 6.
Yeah, that happens to me every time I go to a hotel.
Yeah, like a worst Western.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
God.
I checked into like best hotel story that I think I have is I checked into a Motel 6 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, on my way to Furry Weekend Atlanta
Hell yeah.
from Dallas. I was driving from Dallas to Atlanta.
That's a hike.
Ain't it? And me and my friend checked into this Motel 6, and we get into the room, and it's hot because it's May, and we're in Louisiana. I get into the room, and it's hot in the room. The AC's on, but it doesn't work. It's just blowing out wet air. There is like no furniture in the room besides the bed. Like there's no cuck chair or anything. There's a full-size refrigerator in the room, like full-size refrigerator, and the floor is covered in dead flies.
Ew.
And I was like,
ew.
okay, so I'm not staying here. Like, not at all. And so I went back to the desk and I was like, I need a new room. And he said, that's the last one we had. And I said, it shows. And so I had requested my money back and left. But I was like, I'm never going to Baton Rouge, Louisiana ever again.
Yeah, John and I wound up in a place like that once. You know, you sit on the bed and the sheets crack.
Yeah. Just like crinkle a little bit.
No, not a crinkle. It just snapped.
Okay, that's good. That's good. They're not even crunchy. They're just.
Ew, the flies really get me.
The
I
flies
had
was
a,
really cool. I really enjoyed that one.
Dude, the flies.
ew.
in
They almost
Australia.
didn't give me
Do you
my
have
money
Australia
back.
bugs? Tell
they
us
big?
Australia bug stories.
Oh,
Australia's
yes.
known for its
Big,
exotic bugs.
big
So
bugs.
it's their
Nightmare
spring
bugs.
Uh-huh.
right now. So like the mosquitoes and stuff haven't hatched,
Balls are getting wrinkly.
Yeah,
but
it's because you're not sucking.
Wait,
on
do you-
it enough.
Wait, you have ice balls?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
he has-
freezer. The
he has
freezer.
a- he
The
has
You have the
freezer.
fancy ice balls.
The freezer
we have
lays
the
eggs.
ice balls.
If
yeah.
my friend Frank is in here, I'm
One-
calling you out.
Carry on.
The
Bugs
ice
in Australia.
ice
Call
balls.
Frank out.
Ice balls are a thing.
yeah.
Very much. It's like every 18 hours it lays two of them.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
refrigerator moans.
It does. It
Yeah,
does
yeah,
kinda
yeah,
moan.
Yes, it's
The,
like
the first time I was here, I was sitting at the dining room table and I heard them like clunk, and then it went like,
No,
and
no.
I'm like, what is?
No,
what
no, no,
was
no.
that?
Ice balls. These are very high-end
Your
refrigerators.
fridge wasn't laying them for a while. What
Well,
happened?
I have
Was
no
it just
idea.
out
This
of
is the
pro-
thing.
It wasn't producing.
there wasn't enough testosterone.
Clearly.
Okay. Okay, bugs.
Big
Tell me about
bugs.
bugs.
So
Big-
I'm sorry for the
Getting
distraction.
so
Ice
super
balls.
hip.
Imagine, okay, no, you're outside, you're in the shade, there's some flies. So you step out into the sun where there's a breeze, there's some wind. You expect the flies not to follow you. They follow you. And they're flying against, this is perplexing. They fly against the wind to get to you. They're freaking athletes. And they're not even trying to get to you to like suck your salty sweat. They just want shelter from the wind. So they're like up. I'm like peeling from behind my glasses.
Ew.
Ew, exactly. Like they're going for your nose, your mouth. It's
Ew.
like freaking ew. So I'm like out there trying to film, and these freaking horse flies are just everywhere. They're great. You could feel them bumping into you. It was, I have my bucket hat. I'm just pulling it down over my eyes, over my ears. This is gross. And everybody else is just talking and just casually, there are these flies around these. Fuck this. Now, thankfully, they were only out in the country when we were doing this. I didn't get them when I was downtown. Not so bad, but that was like, ew. So next time, it's just me going to Australia. I don't care. I'm going to do more touristy stuff because I did 0 tourist stuff aside from the gay bar and not South Street, their version of South Street that's also gay, Smith Street in Melbourne. And then it was just pub. And I'm on this quest to recreate their flat white, which is going to be very, very difficult here because there's something up with their milk. It's not the same. And when they make a flat white latte,
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
and the foam stays foam the entire time. It doesn't join the rest of the coffee. It just stays there.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's thick. Almost, and it almost has a crust as it clings to the side of the cup, almost like a creme brulee. And it's in my spank bank. I am going to be thinking about this. I tried today with half, like trying to froth half and half in my cheapo Mr. Coffee espresso machine.
Right.
That may be a thing. That may be a splurge to get a better espresso machine.
You're gonna go down that pipeline. Though.
I am going to go down that pipeline.
As soon as you like,
Somebody will get-
as soon as you make one good one at home, you're gonna buy the whole.
How
thing.
did I do that?
Get it.
Yeah.
Somebody will get it.
Like I'm just Tekken 2 button mashing my way,
Yeah.
trying to create this coffee.
Somebody will get
eventually
it
you'll hit it.
Yeah.
You
as a
know?
housewarming gift.
A house.
Someday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And then the 3 days when it actually functions properly.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That happened in a coffee shop once. I was there and the machine blew up and it had strafed the beard of this guy who was making the cappuccino.
Oh, like a catastrophic blow.
I mean, like strafed the beard. And I took a look and I said, reminds me of a romantic evening.
Hello, everybody who joined us from Instagram.
Yes. Hello,
Oh.
Coulter. It is indeed Jim.
Yes. Moo.
Yeah.
In the flesh.
The one Kia says, is there milk pasture? Well, it came from a store. So yes, it's not raw milk. But I was talking to Chris at the coffee shop in Market Square coffee shop that we were at for the car meet, the downtown one.
Right.
And she said that our whole milk is really 3%.
Right.
So we have 3%, 2%, 1% skim. Their whole milk, which isn't called whole milk in the store, it's called full fat, may be something else. It
Okay.
certainly tastes different. And that one artist, furry artist, Mutasaur, she said that when she comes home to visit her parents here in the States and she has milk here, she doesn't have a problem. But when she drinks it in Australia, lactose shits immediately.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's something.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if American milk.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It usually does.
Yeah,
It
like
has
you
usually
know what I
how-
mean?
Yeah.
Things occurred.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's milk product.
Yeah.
Right.
Another
It's
thing.
milk food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I had small meals and felt full down there. Poached eggs for breakfast in the cafe. Just the corner cafe is making poached eggs with real crispy brown bread that's hard on the outside and soft on the inside. And then, bacon that's thick. And it's got a thick black pepper and it's crusty. And I sit there and I have no thoughts. And I am just in there. I'm just drinking all of it. I'm eating all of it. And that it was 8 days of mouth pleasure everywhere I went. Although, their version of cheesesteaks is chicken parma. So
Okay.
it's chicken parm, but it's not
So it's just like a chicken cutlet.
What are they from South Philly? Like what?
right. So,
Is that
so
really-
like a parmy everywhere else? But every pub has this like meal where it's a fried chicken cutlet on a bed of chips, fries, and then a little side salad. And every single pub has this.
Okay.
And I guess it serves the same function as a cheesesteak. You have it before you start drinking
Right.
to just slow the
Or
process.
just a bed that
Right.
it can land on.
Yeah, I ate it and I was still full the next morning.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's just a big piece of like chicken with
That
a
sounds-
ton of cheese.
That sounds good. Yeah.
It does. It
I'm
was.
in.
Oh, it was good.
I'm
It
in.
was very
I'm
good.
definitely in.
You should go to Australia.
I would love to. I have I had some Australian foreign exchange students when I was in high school. So that would be kind of neat. Could go say hi because I assume there's just like a few people in Australia. So I
Yeah,
could probably find
they
them
all know
pretty
each other. And, yeah,
yeah,
they're just,
I've heard it's pretty.
they're just in a
small,
hut
so,
somewhere.
yeah.
Yeah, the ones that aren't hiding in a pouch.
Right.
I love their toilets. They
Are they a bidet country?
not really no.
Okay.
Okay.
I
do
didn't
love a
find a
bidet.
single
Important
bidet
question.
while I was there. But their toilets had had 2 flush buttons,
Right.
the pee and the poop.
Right.
You can use pee for everything. That poop flush, oh
Is
my goodness.
thorough.
That's a pressure washer.
Powerful
that comes
shit.
out. Yeah.
It's actually a power washer, like hooked up.
It sends it to New Zealand.
Yeah, 220 power everywhere, so your water kettle immediately is hot. So
What are we doing here?
I don't know, our
Fucking
110.
What are we
around.
doing?
Our 110 at 15 amps
Right.
max. Yeah.
I just had to buy
Because okay, for everybody in Australia, the house that I'm in here has 200 amp service. Right. So you have 220. Every single house here has 220 because, our dryers are 220.
Correct.
But
And
our
the ovens.
Yeah.
and the ovens.
But our appliances.
But that's
don't.
it.
But like,
But
there
no
are other
more.
shit
No
that we
more.
do
No more
doesn't
than that.
use
no
it.
more.
Yeah, don't be greedy.
Yeah.
Let's not. Let's.
Oh, that's
get
another
ahead of
thing for the house
ourselves.
I
Yeah,
buy.
exactly,
Run
yeah.
the 220 to the garage for the car charger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Someone in the chat asked me, what do I think about the AU Falcon? I want one in the United States. I want an AU Falcon Ute, freaking Barra, turbo Barra.
Yeah.
It wasn't an AU Falcon. It was a different one that Matto had that was called the Ford Performance Vehicles, which we don't get here. We only get
FEP.
Yeah.
Ford FPV
Ford Performance Vehicles.
I'm good at spelling. Yeah.
That is a factory 415 horsepower, straight
What?
6
Mm.
turbo.
The Barrows are crazy.
Barrows are nuts.
They're absurdly overbuilt.
Yeah,
Like just
that's
out
it.
of the box.
That's what they give you stock is for.
Yeah.
415.
Yeah. Out
Yeah.
of a straight 6. It's a
Yeah.
big 6 too. Like they're not small.
Envy says
don't really rev
Matto's
very
was
high.
a Falcon FG FPV F6, otherwise known as the BA XR6 Ford
Oh,
Falcon.
the XR6. Okay, I do know what that means. That does mean things.
That was the most difficult thing to drive in traffic because it's almost an electric car in that I want my torque now.
Yep.
Right now.
Mhm.
I would like it at 1,900 RPM now, please.
because the Barrows are large in displacement.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've heard.
4.2.
4.2.
Yeah, I think.
And so they move a lot of air. So they spool turbos like fast.
There was one guy at the car meet. I forget what it was. He was a fan of Matt Happel from Sloppy Mechanics. He had the Sloppy Mechanics thing. Okay, Sloppy Mechanics is now worldwide. And he had a fucking huge turbo like this on a Barra. And I wish I could have driven that thing. But the thing is, like, once you get into town, it's like everywhere is either Market Street or Kelly Drive. There is no big boulevards where you can just rip on it. There's no Vine Street Expressway. There are loops that go around the city, but they are much more nanny state with their, at least in the city, with their speed control. They have the Autobahn style speed limits on programmable signs over the motorway, and then they love their speed cameras. So that's a freaking thing, which would make sense why so many of the people I hung out with had small displacement engines, things that you can rev out. There was one in the Moto Furs group down there. There was a Daihatsu Charade that they called Mr. Safety. That was just this
I love those
shit
things.
box
Yeah.
that I rode in once that
Very,
someone
like,
bought
mighty
for
car
like
mods.
$500 because it was that they got it good enough that it would just run for the summer, but that was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And now it's just floating throughout the fan group, whoever has it.
That reminds me of like Mighty Car Mods era, like early Mighty Car Mods when they got
so
started
good.
13 years ago. Whatever. Like they
Yes.
were doing, they always called them like nuggets, but they were like
Yeah.
it was a lot of Daihatsu charades that they were driving around that were like these little pieces of shit. That throws me back to early Aussie car culture. For me. My exposure to it, at least.
I'm hoping the POW will die.
Why?
Well,
Because
so you
then
have
I'll
an excuse.
So I have
to
an
swap
excuse
it.
Yeah.
to put
To
a
do the
better engine in
SR20.
it.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You should do that. That
I
would be
know.
On the
really
B Series
properly.
1 Slammer.
I'm not mixing families.
Yeah, you got to keep
You're
it in
not-
the family.
I'm not
You're not gonna
doing
put an
that.
Sounds
LS1 in
worse
it?
when it comes
No, it
out.
wouldn't fit. No.
Yeah,
The
I-
SR20 though.
I
Yeah.
support the blue turd.
KA
Someone knows.
engine.
No, I support SR20. It'll
Mm.
fit.
It-
they made them in front
There
wheel
is
drive
one
variants.
person in America
Uh-huh.
that
It'll
I've
happen.
seen who has done it and has a working SR20.
The Sentra for a while got an NASR, but
Really?
like they have a front wheel drive
The
SR
SER
platform.
Sentra?
Yeah. So
Okay.
the Sentra SCR got like a NA 2-liter SR20. But like again, they're not great motors. Those are bad. But I'm just saying like it exists. Like there is a transmission that will handle that. They do make a transverse SR. They're not like 240s only. You know.
That's like
So-
a 5-year project though, with a
Yeah.
ton of fabrication.
Well, it's a 5-year It depends on how much cocaine you have.
how
at
much
your
how much I
disposal.
care and how
Like,
much
if
money
you
I have.
like
Yeah, I know.
if you have a good supply of like Adderall or whatever, then you'll be all right. But it's definitely not like a overnight.
I
kind
also
of
feel like the
thing.
car community, which I love, is just an echo chamber of bad decisions.
I
Oh,
love
it
that.
is.
Which
Well,
is, you know what I mean? Like, do
well,
it.
do it.
Like, it's,
Yeah.
that's all
That
it
in and of
is.
itself is a slogan.
Yeah.
An echo chamber of bad
It
decisions.
Yeah.
is. It absolutely is. It,
So what is the problem with the power right now?
Nothing.
Nothing.
it has an
Oh.
oil leak,
Yeah.
but Lee
Don't
of
we
the
all?
PAL community says that it's probably the oil pan gasket.
Oh,
But
you
it's
can cut
getting
your own.
worse. And I'm like, I want to be like, oh no, it's okay. Shh, I will fix you. But then the other part of me is like, no, die. Just die. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I like, and so
You just need an excuse to.
Well,
so I
the
haven't
great
done
thing
it.
about-
So I've been doing nothing
The
in
great
hopes
thing
that
about
it'll
the
be
power,
like,
it can go right back up on cars and bids.
no, I can't put it on cars and bids.
Why not?
Well, I mean, I can, but I'm not selling it.
Oh, okay.
Oh no.
Okay.
No. We're married now.
All
We
right.
can't. There's no prenup. We're me and the power.
I mean, Holly does make the 1100 single barrel fuel injection mod thing, and it will go down. It will handle 1 liter. You can program it for it.
Which it is a 1 liter.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Am I okay? Somebody just pitched in and said our speeding fines are quite astronomical. In Victoria, the fine for driving 5 kilometers over the speed limit, which is like a half a mile an hour, $529, and your license gets suspended for 3 months. I would. Are you kidding me?
Are they bullshitting?
No, I mean I've heard that that's a thing. Like I know Australia.
Oh, can you imagine
kind of weird
if
about
America actually
Gave a shit?
like actually pursued people for breaking the law, like people who sit in the left lane, like
Mm.
deleted, like your license is revoked, get out. Like, can you imagine how
that. I
wonderful it
think
would
we-
be to
you-
drive?
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh,
Like because I've been pulled over doing the statute of limitations and stuff. I also got pulled over, so it's fine. I got pulled over doing like 73 in a 25 once.
I mean,
I'm not kidding. Like I had an Enemiata and I was like
in a Miata,
I was like topped out in third
he's
gear
like
in a 25
this
mile an hour
kid.
zone, and I talked my way out of the ticket.
No.
So it's like you just get away with murder.
I was
here,
doing an
and it's
indicated
fun. And you
100
actually really
on,
can.
I-81 southbound.
Normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a motorcycle,
Yeah.
full race tuck on my GS 500. I was just nice to the officer. He gave me obeying traffic devices, no points.
Yeah.
Yeah, just pay your minimum $113.
Yeah, and just
Mhm.
like
Great,
stop doing that. Yeah, it's great. Like you can get away with like borderline vehicular manslaughter in
Envy
the
from
US.
Australia
And just go
says,
like,
I don't
"Oops,
think you lose your
borderline?"
license for
Yeah, it's like
for a year.
oopsie, sorry, officer,
I thought
and
it
you
was a
just get
trash
right back
can.
out there again.
You
Nothing
mean it was
happens.
grandma?
Yeah.
I'm stunned by this. One, I'm jealous that you were going in a Miata.
In a Miata.
Yeah. Like, I think that's cute.
It was a Miata that had very little compression too. It blew up a few months later.
Oh.
It was really close. It had so little compression, it wouldn't idle. So I had just like I manually
like, hold-
adjusted the idle screw up on the throttle body so it would idle like
Mm.
1200 RPM because otherwise it wouldn't stay running.
Yes.
It burnt
Yes.
so much oil. It was terrible.
Which one was it?
It was an NA. It was a 95.
Oh, okay. I
It was
missed
a
that.
95
Okay.
and
Okay.
Miata. It was bright yellow,
Mhm.
not factory yellow. It was white underneath. It had been in like 11 car accidents.
Somebody intentionally made it yellow.
Yeah, somebody painted it yellow.
Mm.
Oh,
I like yellow
this is
on a
my
car.
favorite.
I like
color.
yellow too.
Yeah, I like yellow on a car. I've noticed.
Mhm.
I don't know how I feel about yellow.
It attracts bugs.
Does it?
Hmm.
now?
Yeah.
I don't like white,
I come back to Crazy
I
Taxi
agree.
and there's just
Bugs.
like mosquitoes
Just
and
stuff
stuff.
except for the
on it?
GR
That's
Corolla,
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, the GR in white looks good,
pale
but they have
yellow.
better colors.
Like a buttercup.
like a buttercup.
buttercup. I like a good a good pale yellow, but that's like a classic car color.
I was gonna say I like
think
it.
like pale yellow looks good on classic cars.
I think I like it that the pastel color palette is coming back.
I do
I've
too.
started to see it on a couple cars.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Something other than suicide beige.
Yeah, you can have gray or dark gray or black or white and
so
red if you're fancy.
I was kind of having a
Blue.
funny the other day
Or
because
blue.
there was the joke that kind of went around Twitter a while ago when the
Thank you,
the new
Magical.
Range Rover came out or something, and it was like that somebody pulled up the configurator on their website and it was just like 8 different shades of gray and like white, and then someone was like, "Oh, that's a funny joke, haha," but then you go to the website and that's actually the color palette. I have a friend who works for Nissan corporate, and I was talking to him about the new
Oh, are they hiring?
Murano that's coming out soon. And I went onto their
Dumb.
configurator to look at the new Murano just to like see what options were. And if you get a base, like not like just the base level trim, your choices are pearl white, gloss white, silver, gray, or black. And you have to trim up one to get
Color.
another color option. And I'm like,
Uh,
this is insane. But you know,
There was a time where you could pay extra for like a color. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't even mind if they just offered the
just
whole
give me something.
like you could just
But
pick from an RGB thing.
Right.
Like,
And of course, just buy a Porsche.
Yeah.
If you buy a Porsche,
can you is that what
Yeah,
Porsche
if
does?
you
Yeah,
walk-
paint
can-
to sample is
you
a
can
thing.
walk into
I
a
wanna-
Porsche dealership with like a generic brand, like a Target brand crayon, and be like, I want my car to be this color, and they're like, yeah,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, but then they're like, also here's $300,000.
correct.
Yeah.
You do have to pay more, and like BMW does a paint to
I'm
sample.
trading in
program
my
to the
Rolls Royce.
individual thing, and I think Porsche works similarly, but I'm not 100% sure. But I know BMW's works this way that if you're the first person to request the color, you pay more. Because you
'Cause they have to
pay
mix
for
it.
them to R&D it and like
Uh-huh.
find the color. Once you pay for it, then it enters the color catalog and anyone else can pay a nominal amount for it. But like if you're the guy, I want to know who the guy is to derail. Can you talk about ADHD?
What?
There's a
What?
guy who paint to sampled his 911 Carrera, or not a 911 Carrera, but his Carrera GT. You know how they all of them came silver? Like
Yes.
all the Carrera GTs were silver. Someone did a PTS Carrera GT in just a different shade of silver. Like
Just
it was
one-
the
one
silver,
shade
it was
off?
the silver that came on like the Speedster or something like that. So it's like a classic color, but it's still silver. I'm like, just why are you doing?
Which really just speaks to the attitude of
It's
with
definitely the guy was just
customer.
like, I don't
Yeah.
give a shit about money, and I just
Yeah.
want to set it on
Yeah.
fire, and so like
Yeah.
whatever, I'll pay for anything. But
Very legal, very cool. Super chat. Thank you. He just wants to gobble the knob, and I have no objections to that. Your vivid descriptions of crumbling Pennsylvania mining towns remind me of my favorite poet, Richard Hugo, who wrote about the similar dying places in Montana. See the poem Degrees of Gray in Phillipsburg, for example. Well, thank you so much, and thank you for your super chat.
Suicide Beige is pretty funny.
Yeah.
I did enjoy. I love beige cars. I buy beige cars on purpose. Big fan of beige.
Yeah.
I think beige.
Nick
is a great
has this
color.
O2
His Camry.
This O2 Camry.
Toyota puts their whole pussy into making a really good beige,
Yeah.
and then they just rock the shit out of it because
Yeah.
they know that every 50-year-old named Linda who works in HR will buy the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Well,
God,
look
but
at the
I
tailgate.
got
That was
back-
convenient.
Yeah.
I got back into his car, after the trip. And I'm like, God, this is still good
Mm-hmm.
for him because that was a hellscape to get home because we took a lift from PHL to Pottstown and then got in his car and drove the rest of the way.
Why the fuck didn't
Why
you
did
just
you do
leave
that?
it here? I'm 15 minutes away.
Really? I could have done that.
Yeah.
Well, now I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, you silly goose. I was like, we're all right here.
Oh,
Could have just come
man.
pick you up.
Oh,
Yeah,
well.
it's not
I
like
live
it's
8
onerous
minutes
to
away
go
from
there.
here. Yeah.
Okay. Next time.
Next time.
Now
It's
that
not like I
PHL
have-
doesn't have their super cheap parking anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't they do away with that lot during like COVID or something to make
Yeah.
room for rental cars or some shit?
Or
All
they
right, so-
reduced it to 12 spaces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something shitty.
Yes, Corey.
That poem, that very legal and very cool. I just went and read that poem. Yes, that's a good
Is it
poem.
like Coal Town,
it's very
Pennsylvania?
good. It's
Yeah.
very good.
It's a
Yes.
is it a short poem? Can
Do
we
you want to
read
read
it?
it?
You can read
For
it.
the class?
Are you a good public
Please.
speaker?
I'm not. I'm illiterate, but
Okay.
it's kind. I'll read the first.
Successful.
I don't know
software
if this. I
developers,
don't know if
ladies
this
and
is
gentlemen.
worth. I know.
I can read it. Do you want me to read it? I can read it.
Do give the audience the first paragraph.
There
The
once
first
was a
paragraph.
gal from Montana.
No.
Oh, shit.
Who got fucked in a Nissan Stanza? That sort of rhymes.
It's a slant rhyme. You're getting
I'll give it
take
to you.
Oh yeah, yeah. Good enough for the girls I go out with.
Mhm.
the one with ice balls.
You might come here Sunday on a whim. Say your life broke down. The last good kiss you had was years ago. You walk these streets laid out by the insane, past hotels that didn't last, bars that did, the tortured try of local drivers to accelerate their lives. Only churches are kept up. The jail turned 70 this year. The only prisoner is always in, not knowing what he's done. There's plenty more, but that's pretty
That's
good.
fantastic.
This is
Keep
Shall I
it
keep
going.
going?
Yeah.
I'll
yeah,
try
hell
it.
yeah.
The principle supporting business now is rage, hatred of the various grays the mountain sends, hatred of the mill, the silver bill repeal, silver bill repeal. Sorry, the best liked girls who leave each year for Butte. One good restaurant and bars can't wipe the boredom out. The 1907 boom, 8 going silver mines, a dance floor built on springs. All memory resolves itself in gaze. In panoramic green, you know the cattle eat. We're 2 stacks high above the town. 2 dead kilns, the huge mill in collapse for 50 years that won't finally fall down. Isn't this your life? That ancient kiss still burning out your eyes? Isn't this defeat so accurate? The church bell simply seems a pure announcement. Ring and no one comes? Don't empty houses ring? Are magnesium and scorn sufficient enough to support a town, not just Phillipsburg, but towns of towering blondes, good jazz, and booze the world will never let you have until the town you came from dies inside? Say no to yourself. The old man, 20 when the jail was built, still laughs although his lips collapse. Someday soon, he says, I'll go to sleep and not wake up. You tell him no. You're talking to yourself. The car that brought you here still runs. The money you buy lunch with, no matter where it's mined, is silver, and the girl who serves your food is slender and her red hair lights the wall. That's
I
it.
wonder what the purpose of the red hair lights the wall. Like it's almost like Charles Bukowski's poem about Nirvana when the young man riding a bus through Virginia on his way to somewhere. And he goes into a skip ahead. He's sitting at a diner, and although this is a negative poem, and Bukowski's poem was positive, he says the waitress was unlike the women he had met. She was unaffected, and a natural humor came from her. And the fry cook said crazy things, and the dishwasher laughed, a good, clean, pleasant laugh. And he wanted to stay in that cafe forever. And the meal was particularly good, and the coffee. And a curious feeling swept over him that everything is beautiful here, and everything would stay beautiful here. But then the bus driver came into the cafe and told the passenger it was time to board. And he just thought, I'll just stay here. I'll just stay here. And then the passengers got on the bus, and eventually he did too. And no one noticed the magic. Anyway, so I wonder why this poem ended with talking about what seemed to be a positive woman, like someone who was unaffected by the crumbling town. I get that a little bit up in Schuylkill County as the population is starting to grow, and there's a big townhome community being built in some land, which the members of the board of the town tried to throw up nuisance lawsuits from a long time to get it prevented from being built, largely because it's right outside the borough. So everybody's going to come into the town and use everything, but the town will not receive any township taxes
Uh-huh.
from this place that's being built. So that's like the thing they're complaining about. But just like the St. Luke's Hospital that got built up and everything else in 61, things are being built up outside the borough of Orgsburg, but not within the borough of Orgsburg. So it's going to be their responsibility to actually, I don't know where water and sewer, if everything, but blah, 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 small town stuff. So yeah, there are people up there in Schuylkill County who don't seem to pass by the county's borders at all. Anyway.
Well, it's like so many towns, period, that get bypassed because the main highway is next to it, but not through it anymore, the way it had been, 50, 60 years ago. So, of course, the development's going to be along the major road.
Yeah, yeah.
And then it's always the question with any small town, do we really want it or do we really not want it?
Yeah. Yeah, everybody on the Orgsburg borough of, or what's the organization? The OABPA, Orgsburg Business Professionals Association. They want it because they want people to bring their money and bring it in and spend it at our businesses, obviously. Right. And then there's the ongoing thing of where are they going to park? We had a Parks and Recreation thing at the meeting last month. And it was so funny. Like, you know where we were all huddling underneath that porch in the rain.
All those women kept going in and not coming out.
Yeah. I mean, there's residences up above that. But like that building had just been like redone, finished. It was like those awnings were new and everything. But up until that, there was a construction crew there and they had their big rollback dumpster that was there taking up 2 parking spaces. And then there was the beauty shop came in to complain to us that something needs to be done about this because you're blocking parking space for our customers. Exactly. Well, the building's going to be done. And then she just did that move that someone who's not, I'm very concerned. And just said that line a few times to us. And like, first of all, we're not the township. We're just a promotional organization. I'm guaranteeing that you're sitting here in this meeting because the borough told you to go kick rocks.
Yeah.
I can't imagine having that much time.
I have a good line from this person that this line jumped out at me in the live chat. Rolls-Royce Cullinan I've seen around Byron Bay painted in a teal aqua color makes me want to engage in an involuntary personal protein spill.
Ooh,
that's good use of vocabulary for that one.
He stole that from George Carlin.
I like it. I don't care.
I know.
How do you mean involuntary?
Involuntary protein spill. It's
I
from
know.
a George Carlin.
Oh, sure. But I'm saying,
if you want a voluntary one.
Yeah, voluntary is more like.
I'm good at those.
Yeah, that's carpal tunnel time. Please, not on the leather.
Peyton Lantis says, I currently drive a Lexus IS 350 I'm bored with. Should I replace it with a BMW 335i or an Audi S4?
Well,
or should I go the safe route and get a G37? No, do not buy the G37.
I can't think of
Q50. No.
How
Ew. Sorry. I'm having a stroke.
No, it was just like the involuntary. Like I read that and I thought I'm actually not going to address that comment because I don't. This is why. So when I was a kid, I thought, I really would love to do automotive journalism. Like I think that would be something I enjoy because I like talking about cars. I like writing. I like using my words to express myself. I realized later in life, like around the age of 12, that I hated every car that had come out since around that age and onward. And I don't think I could say anything nice about them. So I gave up my dreams of automotive journalism because I'm like, I don't think I can say anything nice about a car that's been made since I was born. And so I'm like, I read that comment and I was like, I don't have a single nice thing to say about any of those options that were just presented to me. Like, it takes me back to when my sister was buying a new car and she called me. She's like, hey, I'm at a dealership. I looked at these 2 cars. And I like them both, and I'm not sure which one to get. It's a Chevy Equinox and a Nissan Juke. And I was like,
ew.
Oh my God.
And I literally, I said to her, gun to my head, pull the trigger. Like I can't. If you said pick the two,
Right.
pick
A
between these
tale
two.
of two turds.
Literally, I'm like,
Oh
I
my
don't know how
God.
to like nicely. And then there was the time my brother tried to buy a Chevy Trax, and I left dinner and drove to the dealership to stop him from signing the papers because I was like, please, for
Like
the
a
love of
rom-com?
God, don't buy. Yeah,
Yes.
I like dropped everything I was doing. I dined and dashed. No, my mom was there. We finished the meal, and then I was like, please stop doing that.
What did he end up getting?
He ended up buying a Chrysler 300S with the Hemi.
All right.
It was it was a very out of pocket decision for him.
I thought
to
you were gonna
make.
be like an Elantra, and I'd be
No.
like, no.
He owns an Elantra, and
No.
presently, but because he works for Hyundai, he's a
Oh.
Hyundai salesman, and I'm
Alright,
a Hyundai
alright,
parts guy.
alright.
So he has an Elantra, and
I-
he also has 2 toddlers. He has 2 toddlers with an Elantra N, which is proof to every single one of you that had one child and went out and bought a minivan. You don't need a minivan after your first kid.
Oh, come on.
When you hit kid number 3, you can buy an SUV with a 3rd row.
Ooh, I love.
You do not
yes.
need more than a sedan or a
Ooh, I
station
love
wagon
this.
if you
We
have less
got-
than 3 children.
we
Ooh.
had 5 families of 5 and Ramblers. When
Yeah,
I
but
was
they
growing
cared
up.
less about you when you were growing up.
Well,
and they
the
could
whole-
just make another one.
There was
One
no
of them
seat
died.
belt.
They did fairly easily too.
Yeah.
But of course, the kids all had their own ashtrays. It was a better
Mm.
time.
It was a better time.
Much
Oh,
better time.
Genesis. Somebody mentioned a Genesis Coupe, which I almost agree with. As a Hyundai employee,
The V6 rear-wheel drive manual transmission.
Yep. The
Oh,
two-
I also agree.
The
yes.
2-liter turbo was a ton of fun and a cool tuning platform, but they're not reliable. They just blow up. I mean, like you can make them reliable, but just expect to blow it up. Like do not buy
Yeah.
one thinking I can tune this and I'll have fun with it. And it will not. It's gonna blow up. Prepare for it to blow up.
No, I
The
can fix
alternative
him.
is you can buy the V6. It'll also blow up. So just be ready for
really?
that too. Yeah, the 3.8s do like either if it's not timing chain guide failure. I knew a guy that he owned one, and one day it just started misfiring, and he went, "I wonder what this is about." And like 2 months later, it just had a really hard misfire in one cylinder and no compression, like just
Ooh.
unprovoked.
Have you driven a Genesis?
Yeah, on the show. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the coupes are fun.
I liked it.
I like them a
I
lot.
thought of I called it an SN95 that didn't suck.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
they're good. They're great. I mean, when
I
they
didn't
came
know
out,
that they
were
blow up,
supposed to be they were supposed to be a Mustang competitor when they came out. That was the goal.
Mm-hmm.
I think they did a good job at that. I think
Yeah.
that they have the capacity to be good cars.
Yeah.
And the later ones they kind of fixed some things. But yeah, I think Genesis Coupe is actually a good like if you want a cool fun
But it
car
didn't, like-
that's not super.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But like if you make me choose between an Audi or an F30 era BMW with like sticky door handles, it just every soft touch part of the interior is going to be sticky.
Oh.
Interior by Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, and like the N55, you have if you don't have wastegate rattle, your DME is just like breaking itself randomly.
And he wants
The
to leave an
N55 is,
IS
like, fine otherwise.
350 because everything's going swimmingly.
Right? Yeah, the IS 350 is like boring. I get it as like don't I'm wearing the BMW
Yeah.
hat, so I can't talk. But like as a car enthusiast that has a like malfunctioning brain cells, I too get bored when a car is a little too reliable.
Just buy a second gen
yes.
MR2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
We've
going to
talked
have
about
stuff
this.
that's going to
Yeah.
be broken with it. It's going to be fun, but you're
Yeah.
still once you get those things running, they're awesome.
That was
Yeah.
our review of the Opti. We were like, for anybody who needs a K car that needs nothing,
Yeah.
Mhm.
absolutely nothing,
Yeah.
that's the car for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But it
point
is-
and shoot. You're flooring it everywhere.
Yeah, I do like something that's a little like terrifying. Like if
Yeah.
it's too reliable, that's no like
Yeah.
it's no
No.
It's
Yeah.
no
There's
fun.
nothing to do.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I wonder what else he's bringing in if he's bringing in more stuff.
He just
into the
posted that
update.
he called it the
he goes to auction
the
sometimes.
Jeep,
I've seen
the Jeep POW. I don't know what it
the
was.
Jimny.
No, he didn't buy a chimney. It was something else that he posted. I'll try to find it.
Somebody suggested older Cayman, and while I think that's sort of a fun idea, what I've learned from a handful of friends that I know personally that have bought cheaper, early water-cooled Porsches, is
I wanna
that
talk
they
about this.
don't. Like while they are more reliable, they're still like it's gonna do the Porsche thing at some point in time. Like something's gonna get really expensive. My friend Brandon has a 996, like a Carrera C2, really base, no frills, no features, nothing. And it's on its second engine because the first one did like IMS bearing stuff, and then that got fixed, and then it did the bore scoring thing, where it just burnt a shit ton of oil. So then it's on engine number 2. That one's starting to burn oil. Like the air oil separator will go, or like your coil packs will go, and it like just shit. It's a very German car. It's a very German car. It will ask you for stupid shit, and you'll go, "Why the hell is this like this? Why do I have to do this?"
So,
it will be kind of pricey. It's worth it for the car. I think
you are very German/European cars.
I wish I wasn't.
I know, but I am very JDM, and
Right.
I am just starting to dip my toes into the Euro market. One, because I went to that car show that was
The German car show.
the German car show. Yeah, and I popped in to see Brian afterwards, but
Mhm.
I went to that car show
With
and
the
I
one in
saw
Ole, or
Yeah, the one.
the one in Ole. Yes,
Yeah, okay.
I can't remember the name.
Deutsches Classic.
Thank you.
The
Yes.
one where they force you to buy the food.
I didn't buy.
Oh, they
food.
give you the
The
meal
tickets.
tickets with
Yeah.
registration. You can go buy your.
Oh, but I didn't.
You could go get.
Yeah, but you're gluten free.
I didn't eat
The only
anything.
thing you could do is just
Yeah.
like shove
Yeah.
one sausage down your throat, and that's about it. Like you can't have the bun.
Yeah, no, and
Yeah.
I don't eat at car shows anyway, so I
That's
just
fair.
Mhm.
I eat
Yeah.
at car shows. I go to car shows
Just to eat.
food. I don't eat the food at the car show, but I show up with food and I eat it the whole time.
Did I tell you this where I won that? Oh, I forgot the trophy. Damn it! I should have put it
Were you
right
thinking
here.
about
there.
bringing
That
your
would've
trophy
been
and just putting it right in front of Jim?
Man, that
Yeah.
would have been a rush.
No, you wrap your legs around. it,
Next time, I'll just
Yeah, you
hug
just
it the
have
whole
like
time.
right here.
Don't
just
touch
in
it, it's
between.
mine.
Yeah, your plastic, fantastic.
My plastic worst giant ass trophy.
Well, it has 3 levels on it. It's
Oh,
better
yeah, it
than
does.
most cakes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was fantastic.
What does it say on the trophy?
Corey Walton.
Yeah. Oh, they put your
That's-
name on.
No,
it?
I have no idea.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
know.
It's
It-
no
people's
first.
I don't
choice.
know.
First place.
People's
Best
choice.
carist.
Yeah. I
Most
know.
car.
You went to
Most
like
car.
you went to a Boomer America car show and you have a K car and you won
Mhm.
People's Choice.
I
Mhm.
did.
which
I
is
did win
crazy.
People's Choice, but the reason I was saying is because I come
I'm
from
shocked that there's like no one's
Because
1956
it's like
Bel Air didn't win
Chevelle, Nova.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah, that's true.
okay,
It's like, yeah, you
okay.
get tired of seeing it.
Um,
Even the people who own them.
Well,
get
the
tired
nice.
of
Do
seeing
you have a
them.
sunroof?
Not
in
on
there?
the POW.
I was going
No,
to
I have
say
a
you
hard
could have
top.
opened the sunroof and put the
Stuck it
trophy-
out?
Yeah, stuck it out. Because the trophy's the size of your car.
Do you know what's funny?
Could
is
it be
that-
a hood ornament for the little thing? On
Oh
top?
no, because it would throw the balance. It
It would be impossible. The
terrible.
weight distribution would be horrible.
Could you have like 2 strings to turn? No, it's,
You have to. You have
It's
to
like a
lean, you have to
go-kart.
lean the- You have to lean the trophy when you
Yeah,
go
yeah,
into
yeah.
a corner.
You have to
I'm,
lean.
I'm thinking just the ornament, the little ornament
Yeah,
on
yeah,
top,
yeah.
whatever it is with the wings.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
make that the hood ornament for the POW.
It would be
Oh,
so.
that would be
Yeah,
good.
that would be
Yeah.
good.
It's
You were saying something.
the car that Neil, is it Neil Paulson or Neil Paulson? The guy from Tiki Bunny Imports who has the
Oh, I know him
Hatchet.
as Tiki Bunny guy.
I know it's Tiki
Oh
Bunny guy, too.
no.
He bought
I
what
should
he
add
bought
him.
was I'm looking at the picture and what he bought, it's just called the Naked. I'm trying to figure out who manufactures of it. It looks like a cross between a POW and a Jimny.
Okay.
So it's a boxy 4-door manual.
What is it called?
Something the Naked.
The naked,
Na-
And now I'm
I'm-
going to Google naked
Yeah,
car.
Naked, key
Naked car.
naked K.
Safe search off.
Yeah, like. All right, I'm going to Google
Daihatsu
naked car. Oh, Daihatsu.
Oh, the Daihatsu Naked.
Oh, Daihatsu.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
what is it? Let me see.
Ooh.
Oh, that looks stupid. I like it.
Yeah.
it's like an XB.
That's really
It's
dumb.
related to
What a
the
dumb little
Daihatsu
car.
Miura.
Isn't everything related to the Daihatsu Miura? Like, aren't they all just the one car
Hmm.
in 8 different shapes?
1999 to 2004.
That's a long production run.
All right, so this is first years that
13
these
years of
people-
nothing.
It's like one of those cars that I wish translated better.
yeah.
Like, you know, the Honda Fit to the Honda Jazz.
Yeah.
Like, Americans would never buy Jazz.
You like
That's lame.
jazz?
Yeah. But we would definitely not buy the naked.
No.
Yeah.
America would never do
They
that.
would go, oh,
Oh,
Yeah, the whole
that's
Fair Lady
dirty.
Z thing.
Yeah, right.
oh yeah,
That's
that was a
dirty
problem
stuff.
when that
Yeah.
was taboo.
What happened? I guess the exhaust tips are sticking out.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the dad joke to yesterday at the
Sir,
frickin-
please
at the
leave.
frickin' OABPA meeting. It's like they were talking about buns or something. Yeah, like all the dads were chuckling with buns, and then like I think we got more because they're just making food at Chris's coffee shop and freaking.
Oh, I thought you meant the dads at the gay bar in Australia.
No, they would have been way more clever than
Yeah,
just like
I was a little.
you got bun in the oven, and then he laughed at his joke for fucking 6 seconds, and it was just I'm just sitting there in my sweatpants because I forgot about the meeting because I was at home trying to catch up on editing, and I rode the freaking scooter over there in the cold and just listening to people have long drawn out conversation about what sort of food we should serve at the freaking tree lighting. By the way, come to the tree lighting.
When is that?
That's the 7th. Everybody
sorry,
who's not
posted it,
going to
yeah.
Midwest Fur Fest, come to the RCR Decorate Your Car. Anybody who's
I'll
part of
show
my
up.
group, I'll waive
don't
your
have the trailer.
entry fee.
Wanna
First
get
prize.
The heat working
Do you
in the
have
Dodge. We can go.
If I have to hear someone ask me about can I get the heat fixed in the Dodge one more time,
Mm.
it's like that. It's like that. Do you know that thing where you were planning on doing something and you want to do something until someone asks you to do it and then you stop wanting to do it,
Yeah,
kind of thing. Of like if you keep reminding me, the less I want to do anything about it.
yeah.
I'm kidding. I'm
This is like
joking
me and
about
my
that, but, like,
timesheets at work.
Yes, it's on my list of things to do.
I hope
if
no one
have
from work
the
is
space.
watching.
The problem with that stupid car is that I don't think John should have to pay Mike to put a new thermostat in it because that's silly, and I can do that, but I can't dump 8 gallons of coolant in your driveway.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
So
I told you to come over to my house.
I can drive to your house, or
Yeah.
I can drive to Chris's house. But both of those involve me getting the car, driving long distances. And so,
Yeah, I
it's
know.
just I just don't have a lot of free.
Can't we
but I'll
just put a
fix it.
bucket under it?
I'll fix it. I'll fix it. I'll fix the
Wait.
heat in it. I'll fix the heat in
I
it,
know.
and then I'll
Sounds
fix
like
the
a
heat in it,
bathroom.
and I'll buy 8 strands of Christmas lights at the Dollar Tree because the 2 of them have to work at least. If I
Mhm.
buy like that many of them, and I'll wrap them around the car.
a good
and show
idea.
up.
Mhm.
It's a good idea.
Is the 7th?
Saturday.
Okay, 7th is.
Oh, I work that one. I work that Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've worked that one.
Oops.
I'm out.
Boo.
That's okay. Veronica's coming. Veronica and Kid are coming.
Damn it! I
What are they
always
bringing?
Miss her.
They're bringing her-
I
Herbie?
don't know
And is
what they're
that bringing
bringing.
in
They
the
got a
Phoenix
big
that
choice
No,
of things
I
to
don't know,
bring.
is it?
Yes, they
They're
do.
bringing in.
My
They're staying the
phone's over
night.
there.
I don't know. I'll look at it later.
Tony can't bring the fire truck because it's not holding an idle, stalling at traffic lights.
Yeah.
I'm guessing vacuum leak.
It's got to have something somewhere. I don't know.
Well,
Carbureted.
It's a single
everybody
barrel.
says that.
It's a
Oh, it's
single.
got a vacuum
It's
leak.
a single.
Okay,
barrel
so it's a carbureted car, so it's 3 things: fuel, oil, spark.
right.
And the fact that it's running and it's revving rules out spark.
Right. It's
I
running.
mean-
I know
it
you're-
has fuel.
I know you're right, but I'm making fun of the fact that it's the most infuriating answer.
Does he know how to tune a carb?
No.
Okay.
Vacuum leak might as well be wearing a blindfold
Yeah.
and going to like a elementary school playground and trying to find your kid
Yeah.
blindfolded.
Yeah.
That's, a
That's
good
what it's like.
analogy.
That is exactly what it's
That's
like.
what it's like.
And
Yeah.
the only way.
And they're all
around
running
that-
away.
Yeah.
The,
Yeah,
the-
no,
the
that's-
move is like can of brake clean and start spraying it everywhere and
Yeah.
listen
Yeah.
to see if it engine changes and
Yeah.
hoping you
And
don't
if,
blow
even-
anything
if
up.
not that, then Tony, if you're watching this, I know you live 17 minutes away from Chris Napoleon's house.
Yeah.
Drive your shit over there because we have a smoke machine.
Oh,
Do you really?
they?
Yeah. Chris has a smoke machine. We
Aw.
could smoke test it.
You could smoke
we could
test
smoke
it.
test it. I'm down to smoke test it.
I got mad because I
Come
tried
over.
to.
We know it doesn't fit in the garage because with the ladder rack on the roof of it, it's too tall to clear the garage door. But we can drag the
Why
smoke
don't you
machine
make the
out
garage
into the.
door taller?
I pitched that to Amelia the last time I was there.
How
and
did she take it?
She said, when you buy this house,
Making a
you can
video
do-"
for
and I'm like,
Tony,
whatever.
that Chris
Just like-
Napoleon, who lives 17 minutes away from you. They have a
He's
smoke
been to
machine.
Chris's
been here.
house.
Smoke
Tony's
test
been to the
the.
I was there.
When I also made fun of them because when they had the house made, they're how tall the garage is. So the garage doors could
Yes,
just go.
yeah,
The
I
garage
know.
doors could go straight
I
up,
know.
but they
I
just
gotta
have them
pee.
go right. So that when they're open, they block all this room above the cars.
Yeah, it's
And
infuriating.
I was like, now why didn't y'all just have the doors go straight up when you built the house? And they were like, because it's more expensive, and we didn't think that we would be running a workshop out of our garage. And I'm
oh,
like,
did
well,
they design? Did they?
yeah.
They were involved
Oh
in
yeah,
the.
they built that house. It was like the first one in the
Oh,
neighborhood too. And I
That's
went,
infuriating.
yeah. So I'm like, man, y'all could have done that.
I
And she's
just-
like, well, when it's coming out of your paycheck, I'm like, okay, Amelia, I understand.
All right, Miss Napoleon.
Mom.
Yeah, of the Napoleon complex.
Yeah.
Would you deny your son? Would you deny him the birthright
Yeah.
of a high
I
garage
just
door?
I just Instagrammed about this today. I said still waiting on that 1-bedroom 5-car garage.
Yeah.
Still waiting. I'll find it. Don't worry.
You'll find one day.
Or I'll build it myself
Yeah,
with
just
my own
build
two
it.
hands.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
8
With your
o'clock.
own 2 hands.
I gotta go get my drugs. I'll be back.
All right.
Good luck.
You still have to take those things?
Yeah, I gotta take them for at least 3 months until the doctor says, "Hey, I guess it took," and then you can do it.
I thought they were just gonna cold turkey you. I thought they were gonna zap your heart and be like, "All right, let's see what happens."
No, they got jumper cables.
Because that's what they did last time. They just put you on a
No,
bunch of shit, and then
See,
they're
the point is they still leave
Then you went
jumper
down.
cables on your balls.
got it. Just in case you need another little zap.
We can't have Jim dying on a second podcast.
I know it would
We
be
can't
very.
have
The
that.
insurance is paid.
It would make for a good podcast title. The two podcasts in a row. Live
Jim
streams of just,
Jim
like,
isn't dead yet.
dying.
1.
Yeah.
Jim isn't dead yet. 2. Or
Yeah.
or just
You
kidding.
can fall
The
down the
finale.
stairs when he comes back in, and that'll be really
They do have-
climactic. Those stairs are great. I mean, it's a
they're steepy.
Victorian era house. So
Yes.
they're kind of, it happens.
I wanted to say though, I drove my friend's. I think he's gonna. Oh God! Every person that knows anything about Porsches in the chat's gonna at me. But he called it a 951,
Okay.
but it's a 944.
Right. I don't know what that means. I don't really know anything
Oh.
about.
Yeah. Why does
Front
Porsche? All
engine
right. Well, then let
Porsches.
me pivot to a different question. Why?
Bless you.
Why the numbers? Why naming the cars numbers?
That was like a Brian level of real fart from upstairs.
I know.
John's laughing. No. Oh, all right. Anyways, okay. So, does 951 refer to the chassis code of the 944?
What does that mean? Why number
So-
your chassis?
Well, so any car,
Oh.
they have a designation. So like the BMW thing, because the BMW kids love their chassis codes, right? So like my 5 Series is the E34 chassis code of the
Right.
5 Series,
Right.
which is like the easiest way to tell another enthusiast without
Hey, I'm into
specifying-
cars,
Well, or
and I know a
even, like,
thing or two.
even sans that, if you were to it's like I can just say I drive an E34 and I don't have to tell someone what year my car is, what body style it is. Like you can picture it in your head. It got even better later with BMW because they changed chassis codes for like each body style. It's like E90 was sedan, 91 was wagon, 92 was coupe, 93 was convertible.
All right. Well, this is
So like
okay.
you knew exactly what that person said they owned based upon that. So I think that's what the Porsche situation is with the 951 being that's
I think it's a
one of the chassis
944.
codes. Well, the 944 is
Yeah.
the model. It's like the Porsche 911 is the
Oh,
model.
oh.
But you have of the 911, you have the 996, the
Oh, the
997.
951 is a turbo 944. Thank you,
Oh.
person.
Thank you, person in the stream. I could have just stopped
I appreciate
bumbling
you.
around for a while about
No, I
things.
know. Well, anyway, I drove it, and I will say, first of all, that was my first Porsche I had ever
It's getting
driven.
comfortable, Jim.
Don't sit here.
Okay. Yeah, you're still on camera.
It was.
You'll be heard.
I found it
understand.
to be really slow,
Yeah, they are.
but like disappointingly slow.
Well, it's a 2.7 liter
Uh-huh.
4-cylinder.
It is. Yes. Yes.
A 4-cylinder the
Yes.
size of most V6s.
Yes.
Spinning a turbo with fuel injection technology from the 70s.
I never found the turbo.
It's not. You don't.
I could.
You don't.
I just couldn't find
It's
it.
like when Jim was talking about driving old Mercedes diesels, like the slingshot. Like you put your foot
Mhm.
down and then you like write a letter to your mother.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Yep.
you like
Yep.
make yourself a small lunch and brew a pot of coffee, and then it spools up, and it's like
It
turbo
looks.
technology was bad back then. It was just not forced induction was not refined because we didn't have modern cars do all kinds of crazy shit with fuel
Yeah,
injection
yeah.
and things like that to
Yes.
make the most of turbos.
Right.
Back
right.
then they were like, put it on. It'll make more power eventually.
Yeah. Bigger turbo mean more power.
We'll do
Unga
it
bunga.
sometime.
Yeah.
Hey, pre-turbo, do 6 rows of knitting before you can merge.
Yeah.
My microphone again. It's falling
Oh,
down.
that's because you kicked me off.
It's
the
okay.
couch.
It's just it's like it's there.
See,
It's
once-
if I've slowed down the rate at which it falls.
Once I left, you went flaccid.
Well,
I need to
yeah.
put like D rings on there and just like brace it.
Yeah. Or I mean, you could buy a mic stand that just
could buy a
has
better
like
nice mic stand,
has
yeah.
the serrated coupling here instead of
Yeah.
the rubber discs that pinch.
Yeah.
You know, but again, we're
I
running
don't
a
know
low
where I
budget.
even got that mic stand. I think that's from Amazon.
You know what's crazy is I had, before I moved to Texas, I had a whole metric shit ton of audio equipment that would have come in handy for things like
Yeah.
this that I sold all of because I was like, I'm not doing music anymore when I left Arizona. And then I moved here and I'm like, just kidding, I lied.
Yeah.
Fun fact: when I was in high school, I won the photography award.
What?
What? I look. You all are like, oh my god, yeah. And then,
And not that I'm confused by that, but just like I didn't even know you gave a shit about photography.
right when I was in high school, I was like, this is it. This is my passion. I'm all in. And then I graduated high school, and I was like, I'm done. I have won at photography. I didn't do anything.
Mhm.
I took pictures of things, like I did it in school. Like I was like, this chapter is closed. Now I am into graphic design. Like, and I just pivot to
Yeah.
the next, and that's yeah.
Yeah, but that was one of the reasons that I pitched, or that like the last time we were on the podcast, and I talked to Brian about how badly I wanted you on the podcast because you are like this weird Swiss Army
Oh
knife,
no!
but you're not even like, it's not like you do have a couple things that you do at the same time, but you're a Swiss Army knife in the sense that like when you're done with the knife, you put the knife away and you move on to
Yeah.
the next tool.
I have sold this
But like
knife. I'm
you're
done.
just like in
I had a
like, whenever
DSLR.
you're in the mood for stuff, like you went to school
D40,
for
right?
God, I've made.
like it's some old
I've
Nikon.
purged
I
it from
borrowed your
memory.
camera for a little bit.
Really?
But like you know, like you went to school.
Were you
for-
borrowing mine? You borrowed a lens or something.
I think I borrowed your lens for my Nikon back in the day, and I was doing like photos of stuff. And then I remember, I think I like peaked out because I realized that. And forgive me because it's been a while. Was it a 50 millimeter or 55 millimeter?
Probably
Like for
around- somewhere around
portraits?
there. Yeah.
What's your?
50 is the standard lens
Okay,
for anything, anyways.
But it has a really big depth.
But for full frame, are you talking?
Yeah, it's a full frame
Okay.
Nikon.
Well, so
that the fridge or
That was
No,
John.
that's John.
That was John
Hey,
Hey,
yawning.
John. Yeah, close the door if you're going to be molting.
well, I just got mad because I couldn't afford a 50 mil,
Yeah,
and it was like
if you want a nice prime, you spend money.
right. So I was like, I'm done with photography now because I'm poor and I can't have
That's
this.
fair.
And I just,
Yeah.
I
I just
definitely-
ended photography.
I did that for a
you don't
little
know
while.
poverty until you got film.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
well, I
Yeah.
still have my Pentax K1000. That's the only. And my
Can
uncle
we
gave
should
it
we
to
need to
me.
get our I'm about to say something really gay. We should get our K1000s together and like touch lenses.
But I asked you
Because
about
I
it.
love my K1000.
Somebody once did
My
that to me with
K1000
his Leica.
Yeah, my
Oh.
K1000 was
Touch
my
lenses?
first camera, my first film camera that I bought.
That's what.
And it was
I
my
inherited mine.
resurgence into photography because I did photography at a racetrack. Like I worked with a local
See, that would have
racetrack
been
in
cool.
Arizona
That's
doing.
cool.
It's cool, but you like you burn the candle at both ends for 2 days straight, and then you get home and you're like, great, I have 2 full 128 gigabyte memory cards that I need to go
That I need to
through.
go through,
There's
yeah.
7,000 images on here, and I will finish today with 50 usable pictures.
Correct.
And it's just
Yes.
like,
And you
it's-
need human
it's
eyeballs to do it.
mind-numbing.
Yes.
And so I just got tired of it, and I kind of hit burnout. And I was like, I don't care. And I sold all of my digital camera equipment, with the
Yes.
exception of one lens that was so expensive I knew I'd never buy it again if I sold it. And then I took a break, and then I was like, you know what? I should pick up film because film's like the quirky, cool thing
And
that
I'm-
the kids
yeah,
are doing these
and
days. And
I'm
I'm like, I'll
cool.
try it.
Yes.
And I was at a Goodwill looking for, like, it's the most stereotypical I got into film thing ever. Like you cannot make this up, but I was at a Goodwill and I just saw a K1000 and it was like $15 on the shelf.
Oh, it's
And I
like
thought this looks like it's in good shape. And I'm like, I literally you could write this story 8,000 times over and over
the
again.
K1000 is like the Honda Civic.
It was
like
the
it's like
it was
the
the
one
number
that,
2 pencil of film photography.
Yeah.
Like it was the
Yeah.
camera that they gave to kids when they were teaching photography in school,
exactly. Yes.
because it's fully manual. There's nothing to it. There's 3 things to adjust, and you take picture. Like
Yeah.
it's so simple
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
screw it up.
And it has batteries that you can get.
Also true, if you feel
Mm.
compelled to have a functioning light meter, you can buy an LR44. You can buy a pack of 10 LR44s for 78 cents on Amazon.
Mm.
And I've had to replace mine once in the 5 years I've owned the camera.
Right, as opposed to the earlier ones that had the mercury battery.
Ooh,
And,
delicious.
Right. And unlike stupid
Mercury
shit that have
battery.
mercury batteries like the Minolta that you've
Right.
loaned to me on long-term loan, has a really dumb on-off switch for the light meter on the bottom of it that I forget to use all the time. While the K1000, the light meter is activated by light hitting the meter. So if you put lens cap on, meter turns off. You don't like,
yeah.
which works for some of us. Granted, that's the only camera I own a lens cap for. I think all the rest of them are just like I'm raw dogging, but
We have a question from the chat that says, "Can you recommend any good scenic drives in Pennsylvania?"
Route 422.
Wait, no, you're trolling.
You could look at the Limerick Power Plant.
You can look at all the construction they're
there a
doing
prison
around
there?
Reading.
And that's a nice leisurely drive.
Yeah.
No, seriously, 897.
897, yeah.
Gap And
Yes. Yes.
Reinholds.
Anything you
Okay.
do in like Lancaster County out there is amazing.
But 897 is a special.
It is.
road.
It's really
Yep.
really
And it
pretty.
curves around.
Yep.
Oh, and it passes by Shady Maple.
Ah, shit.
Yes.
Maple. Yeah,
Yes,
I
it's
still
Died
haven't
in
been there.
Quantity, not quality.
Can somebody take me on like a date to Shady Maple?
You've never
'Cause
been?
No,
Why?
2 years. I've never gone.
It's a
Why?
great
So
place
that's-
to eat a whole bunch of different stuff that tastes the same.
Do you like ice cream on your steak? Great.
Yeah.
Yes,
Do you-
maybe I do.
Do you want eggs on your spaghetti?
Did you want-
Who cares?
Did you want to test drive your digestive tract?
No,
Do
it's like a
do I want-
game. It's like you go to Shady Maple, see how much you can eat, and then figure out if you can get home
They-
before you shit
Will it-
yourself.
Will it void my ablation?
At
Right.
one point, they had a gastric bypass discount.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
did?
Like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're kidding.
No.
That's why
I
I
just want
fucking,
you to know.
That's why I fucking love Pennsylvania, because the level of unironic,
Yeah.
self-aware.
Yeah.
No.
When did they have? Because they used to have the shirts with a picture of somebody with their stomach hanging out saying you ate how much at Shady Maple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they don't have those anymore.
No, they don't have it anymore.
It's like they got rid of the term gluttony night,
Yeah.
for the Reading Phils.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so to reiterate,
Those with the two bellies bumping each other. on
No, I don't
242.
remember that image, but I had to explain to everybody in Australia about what Philly fans really are. And then
Oh.
they didn't believe me that they had free battery night.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
They
Go Birds.
Then-
they stopped doing
Back
dollar
then-
hot dog
Yeah,
night
they did.
because supposedly people were they weren't eating the hot dogs, they were throwing them onto the field.
Correct. That's correct. Yes,
Yeah.
100%. It is 100% true.
They were waiting for the seagulls. To
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
it was cheaper to buy the dollar hot dogs at the stadium than it was to buy the rotten
Yeah, yeah,
tomatoes
yeah.
from the
Yes.
grocery. Yeah,
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And they booed Santa.
yeah.
That was, I think, back when it was,
That was in the 60s when they
yeah,
then they threw
threw
ice-
snowballs, ice balls at them.
But so to reiterate, because you're kind of far away from a mic, sort of maybe. What was it?
897.
897 in Lancaster County.
Right.
Yeah, there's
fantastic.
Drive. I don't know. Drive Boulevard of the Allies in Pittsburgh to say you did it. You
I
can
haven't
watch.
done that. I haven't even been to Pittsburgh yet. I don't know. I just haven't. I
Take
just
the
missed it.
train.
I'm
Take the
good.
train.
I'm good.
Yeah,
Why the train is so charming?
you've never.
But like, will I get there within a day or two,
You've
or
never
like,
been-
can I do
Yeah.
it? In
Yeah,
like,
it
okay.
takes a bit.
Yeah.
I thought you were at
Doesn't take
AC
a
at
bit.
one.
No, nope, never done Anthron. Never. Did
I'm not
Pittsburgh.
doing it this coming summer. I got.
I
other things to
am
do.
also not doing it because for the third year in a row, I will have
Are you working?
a major life event happening
Yeah,
during the
yeah.
middle of it
Ah,
because I'm supposed to be moving in May and it's
Mm.
always in June, and I moved May 2 years ago,
Yeah.
and then like this.
No,
past
don't do
one-
that. Just I'll move for you. It
Okay,
doesn't matter.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, it's not the fact that it's not the act of me moving; it's the money involved that will
Yeah.
Yes.
suck all my funds
and
away.
then
I have a
I
truck.
have to stay now because since I'm on my local board of whatever.
Mm.
And
Oh
4th of
yeah,
July
I
is the
forgot
big
that you
deal.
got bullshitted into that thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Oh,
because
yes.
civic virtue
Yeah.
isn't enough.
Yeah, so
Yes.
897 is cool. Interstate 78 is really, really pretty this time of year. Yeah, Route 422 between Philadelphia and Reading.
Now,
is awesome.
78, but you have to wait until there's a little ice.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
You got to
You
do
know, because
78
you-
like right when it dips below the freezing point after a good rain.
Yeah.
Because the potholes actually fill themselves in at
Yeah.
that point.
Oh, and then you have to drive the section between Route 100 and the Kutztown Crumbsville exit, and stay in the slow lane where all the they have uneven slabs of asphalt there, which I get to drive on the way home from this. But hopefully, it's going to be later. There's going to be no one on the road. I'm gonna have my cruise control set at 80
yeah.
and just get in the fast lane
Yeah.
and just park myself there.
I love Drain's new T-shirt that he just posted in the Larkin chat. That
No,
like I
what?
love PennDOT. Did you see that one?
No.
Oh, that
Yeah, it's awesome, and he has the PennDOT logo on a T-shirt, and he was like taking orders from people. I really hope to God I get one because I have the money in my Venmo ready to send to him the second he has that shirt in his hands. because I am PennDOT's biggest fan.
So I heard
if PennDOT has no fans, then I am dead.
You're like,
You know, like I will be the last living
Yeah.
PennDOT stan.
I
Do you
heard
have to,
there.
like sit on an orange cone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite PennDOT things, which I discovered is really normal here, is that when a pothole gets big enough, they just put a cone in the middle of
Right.
it.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
they
yeah,
don't
yeah.
they don't fix it. They don't
It's
close.
just an FYI.
They don't barricade it off. Like they just
Yeah.
cone middle of it. Doesn't matter where it is.
So-
Middle of the highway. They just traffic cone, and they've taken a traffic cone from a nearby
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
construction
Yeah,
area
yeah.
to put in the middle of it.
Yeah. Also, in Arizona, which you know about,
Uh huh.
they have a sign that will say bump or dip.
Uh-huh.
And that means like look at like
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
their roads aren't necessarily potholey, I guess, depending on where you are.
It's
But, like,
hard to
not
do.
really.
Well, it's hard to do it's the transverse, it's the opposite problem of what we have here. So here you have the like change in weather where it gets wet and that creates potholes.
Yeah.
There it gets hot.
Yeah, they just
and
bake
it
the
gets so
road.
hot
Yeah, it gets
that
wrinkly.
not only does the road
Yes.
get wrinkly, but the asphalt will like stick to your tire and peel
Yes.
up.
And then
So
hit
then
your paint
they'll
job.
pave a road and then someone will drive over and it'll stick to their tire and it'll just peel like icing, just like
You just
peel it off
undercoat
the
your
cake.
own side of your own
Yeah,
car.
And so it's crazy.
well,
But it's not super potholy there.
no, and I like it when that there is like a metal sheet or something,
Mhm.
and they're like bump,
Yeah, they put a big
and they
sign.
put a big sign, and it's like
Yeah.
look out, and you're like okay, and it actually is a big bump. Here, the potholes are the same size as the bump in Arizona.
Yeah, and they're just
Mhm.
like it's traffic cone.
yeah,
in the middle
exactly.
of
Like
it.
yeah, you're good.
Good enough.
Eh,
Yeah, we'll fix it maybe eventually.
yeah.
Yeah.
Philly's slogan is like, did you tell Australia that like the whole of Australia that Philly's slogan is like "fuck you, go birds"?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
that's it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think I gave him the fuck Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Fuck 95. Fuck the Walt Whitman Bridge. Fuck the Commodore Barry Bridge. Fuck the Ben Franklin Bridge. Fuck the PPA. Go Birds.
Yeah, go birds.
Go birds.
Yeah, I am
Yes.
one of my other good like Philly moments of just like I kind of explained this to my mother when she came to visit because my mom's a Southern girl, like she's from the South, she's from Texas, and like she's been out to visit and before and whatnot, but like Jim and I were walking down the sidewalk one night in Philly. We had met a friend at a bar and we were walking back to the car, and we're just kind of taking our sweet time because we have nowhere to be. It's 9 p.m. in Philly on a Tuesday night. So we're just like cruising down the sidewalk, and some dude walks us behind us and passes us on the street. Like he hops down onto the street to like walk around us on the sidewalk. And as he's passing us, he goes, "You two motherfuckers are too big to be walking next to each other down the middle of the sidewalk." And Jim was like, "The middle of the sidewalk? I need a whole county." And the guy goes, "That's a good spirit," and just keeps going. Like he wasn't being mean. He was just
Oh,
stating
yeah,
a
yeah,
fact.
yeah,
He was
yeah.
just telling you exactly how he felt. He's like, "You two are occupying the whole sidewalk and
Yes.
walking slow
Yes.
shit." It didn't come from a place of malice.
No.
It was just an
No, 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 no,
observation,
no.
and he said it. And then he was like, "Good attitude," and moved on with his night. And that was like, and we were just,
Yeah, I was trying to explain this.
yeah.
is
And I'm
normal.
like, this is just Philly. Like people
Yeah.
just say how they feel.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be hurtful.
No.
It's.
Well,
Or it is.
I mean, it might.
It
It
might-
doesn't matter. They don't care if
Yeah.
they hurt your feelings
That's
or
the
not.
point.
Whatever. But like,
Yep.
if you
Yep.
how you take it is up to
Yes.
you. Like,
Yeah.
that's your
when
interpretation.
the Eagles won, the Super Bowl.
Oh
yeah.
man.
So when they won the Super Bowl, it's like I have to go down for the party.
Yeah.
Did you
So-
go?
Fuck
Of course
yeah.
he did.
Every person in the tri-state area went.
No, what
Yeah.
I did though is I parked way up in West Philadelphia
Yeah,
around
smart.
Drexel.
Yeah.
Walked over the bridge because that's the only way
Yep.
to do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I did it very early. So about 7 a.m. I was at Broad and Walnut, and there was a guy and his like 4 or 5-year-old boy who staked out their corner. And the little boy is on his father's shoulders yelling, "Fuck Tom Brady! Fuck Tom Brady!"
Yeah.
Was that the same time where your feet stopped hurting because
Yeah, there was so much weed. All of a sudden, I'm walking around
No.
saying my feet aren't hurting.
yeah.
He was like secondhand contact.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
great. And, like, of course, Philadelphia, they took, they expected, 500,000 people or whatever.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, X number of people, Y number of porta potties. We put them all up at the art museum.
yeah.
So there was a line 3 deep waiting to use the back wall of the basilica
Yeah.
because Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
never been
You
so-
know what? Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I've never been so happy happy in my life that I needed to just burn things.
Yeah.
Like that's what it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, just like set shit on fire. My
Yeah.
first one of my first like proper Philly experiences was right after I moved here. I moved here beginning of December, and New Year's Day is the Mummers Parade, which is like a famous Philly thing,
Yeah.
and you can't really explain it to people. Like it doesn't, because there's no amount of explanation that matters.
Yeah.
All you need to know is that there's a bunch of floats. Everyone's hammered at
Obliterated.
7 a.m.
Correct.
Like
Yes. Obliterated.
completely beyond blacked out. It's 7 a.m. And so we show up and we're walking towards the parade, and I'm lugging around this giant medium format camera because Jim's given me this camera from 100 years ago and is like, take pictures. So I'm walking around with it, no strap, hold both hands, freezing, no gloves on. And as we're walking up to the parade, there's somebody in a float, and all the floats are like rental RVs. Like they've just gone to the rental RV place and rented one because everyone in the RV is hammered. And this lady's hanging out the window of this rental RV, and she goes, "Y'all want a beer?" Like and is like holding one, and I'm like, "Okay, you're whatever too." And so I don't take one because it's 7 a.m. and I have some self-respect. But we walk around the parade and we're doing the thing, and and we're walking back to the car kind of around the time the parade's sort of wrapping up, and there's a parking lot right by some like medical center right off the Vine Street where that parking garage is. And the parking lot, it's like a 10-space parking lot, but it's walls all the way around. So it's just one big urinal the whole way around. Like it's just shoulder to shoulder, shoulder to shoulder, the entire. Yeah, well, yeah, it is. But like, because people, I've had people ask me, how do they do the naked bike ride? Like the whole city is public indecency from start to finish. Like, it doesn't matter.
So good.
But so it's like shoulder to shoulder, the whole perimeter of the parking lot, just people peeing on the wall, all in costume, in clown costumes, whatever the fuck you name it. And so I'm walking and I look over and I see what's going on. I'm like, okay, so I just keep walking. And as I'm kind of looking around, I make eye contact with one of the dudes peeing on the other side of the wall, like his head's over the wall so he can see me. And I make eye contact with him. And with a split second, he goes, "You want a taste?" And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, what is happening? And I just kept walking and like chuckled. But I'm like, how did... Like he was ready, and I'm like,
ready
what?
with the line. Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I love this city. I think you don't get that in the Southwest.
No,
people don't look at you.
No.
You don't get that.
Well, they do look at you,
but it's like the Southern hospitality thing. They don't actually care.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's just different. People don't talk to you like that.
People always say, well, why don't you just permanently move to Arizona? And I'm like, but there's something about, I love wintering there, but there's something about like coming back and people are like, 30s. Fuck you. Like when you're on and you're like, oh,
home.
Yeah.
Home. It's so nice here.
Yeah.
The second I landed back in because everything was so nice. The Australians were so nice.
Did you fly into Philly?
No. Well, connection at DFW.
Okay.
Yeah. So Melbourne to DFW.
Okay.
Land in DFW, like everybody, Australians are so polite, and because everything's chill and everything. Land in DFW, and I get Dallas. No, that's not Dallas. Yeah, Dallas.
DFW's Dallas.
Yeah.
I hate DFW. I used to work 3 minutes away from there.
Really?
The Hyundai dealership I worked at when I lived in Texas was really close to the airport.
See, that's the thing about like getting international flights. You got 3 choices: LA, O'Hare, or DFW.
Yeah.
And if you want to make a connecting flight, don't fly into O'Hare.
Yeah.
No.
Because so your choices are LA, and I've done that 3 times already. So or 2 times for international.
Is LA bad?
Well, okay. Here's the thing.
It's just big.
LA just has.
I'm about to go to LA.
It's just big.
It's just big. I mean, you're flying. I mean, if you're doing international, you got a Tom Bradley, the Tom Bradley terminal of LA. You can get LA is just one big terminal. So Tom Bradley is the international terminal. It's super nice in there. I go in there even if I'm not flying international because that's a nice place. It's kind of like Terminal A West in Philly.
I've only ever been to E.
Okay.
I don't fly out of Philly.
I've only ever
go to Newark.
Well, so Newark to Phoenix is like $300 cheaper than Philly to Phoenix. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
every time I've flown really since I've lived here
is?
has been to Phoenix. Yeah, it's so much
Mhm.
cheaper out of
Well,
Newark.
my mom does Baltimore. It's also cheaper. Through
Yeah, I don't know.
Baltimore.
It's like really easy for me to get to Newark because of NJ Transit. So like
Mm.
when I fly, I show up here and then I make him take me down to 30th Street and then I take the train up.
Or unless it's like a fuck all time.
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, yeah, that's the problem with SEPTA because NJ Transit runs around the clock, but the SEPTA train from Trenton
Was
to
it packed
Philly
then?
is
Yeah, that's the one
non-existent
thing. The
after
Philly
10
train,
p.m.
the trains out of Philly, you can't take the train home.
Yeah,
And
so
when
then
you're
I
always
have to,
flying in, you're always flying against time.
and I'm a little
So you always get into back. You get into Philly, and you're standing out there in the corner at 11 o'clock at night, and
Yeah.
the trains don't run.
and I did get a little silly because there were 2 times that I had Jim come pick me up from Newark International Airport because I landed way too late to catch a train.
Ugh.
And I realized after the second time I did that the train from Newark Liberty to Trenton, the Trenton Transit Center, never stops.
Mm.
So I
Oh.
could have just taken the train to Trenton and had
Oh.
him pick me up in Trenton, which would have been like an hour less driving for him.
Mm.
I learned
Oh,
that
you had to
after
go
I did
all
it the
the
second
way.
time.
Of course.
He would go all the way for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ha ha.
Yeah, but only if he fixes my heater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
When
is
are you
it
gonna
what?
do
Is
that?
Get
Is it the
working.
heater core? Is it a line?
No,
just a
it just
thermostat.
I think it either doesn't have a thermostat in it or it's stuck open because it never gets up to temp ever.
Okay.
But of course now it
Was
has
the
a
thermostat
leak.
just right on top?
It is.
Oh, but
and
you gotta
now,
drain it. That's
and it has a
right.
leak from the lower rad hose anyways, so it's like I gotta replace that because that lower rad hose has been like strangled by the hose clamp by now because I think it starts to dribble and then it gets another like 2 turns on the hose clamp and now it's just like being suffocated by the hose clamp and it still leaks.
I
So I'm like,
remember
new hose.
New hose.
when they taught us.
They're $8 on Rock Auto. I think I can afford it.
Tight.
I remember when they were showing us like how to do a coolant flush in engines in car school, and like
Car school. When I went to car school.
when I went to, I don't know, like what do you want to call it? Like
yeah.
I went to car school. Yeah.
Was that the school song?
Zoom.
Zoom,
No,
zoom.
I won't talk about. I won't poop on them. They
Deltec.
yeah, they are no longer having an accredited program. They're just workforce development now,
That's cool.
which is like heartbreaking. I feel like
I was ready
I'm
to
so
go down
sad.
and like smack that guy when he asked you if your tools were pink.
he's no longer there.
That one
That's good.
professor's
That
gone.
one guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were they pink? I would rock a pink set of.
I wish I had known you because in the 90s, while you were busy not being alive.
Right.
I once, when I worked at Eastwood, there was a discussion saying, how can we encourage more women to become interested in the car hobby? And somebody said pink tools.
Yeah.
And they were high quality
Yeah.
tools. I mean, like they
I'm
didn't.
sure it was Eastwood.
And it was like,
Eastwood
fuck,
didn't really
I
sell
am
shit unless you were responsible
Well,
for it. So
Well, yeah, that was the collectibles bullshit. But the point is that when they were closed out, I could have gotten like a whole set
yeah,
of these pink tools for
Oh.
nothing.
That would
Yeah.
have been great.
That
But
would've
of course,
rocked
it
the
was
shit out
me,
of
and it's
those.
like, when am I ever going to use a tool?
right.
You don't work on your.
He doesn't. No. His when I
You're like laughing at
no,
me.
no, when I
You
first
don't do
no.
anything.
when I first like one of the first
There
times
are
I
lots of
started
different
helping Jim with things, he told me about his dad's phrase of the Jewish toolbox, which is just a Rolodex of business cards of people who do things better than you.
That's really funny.
Well, no,
that's actually really funny.
when I was a kid, lights went out. And my father said, what the heck's going on? And I said, well, Dad, let me see. And I found a flashlight, went down to the basement, saw the circuit breaker, flipped the switch that was over. The lights came back on. And I came back up and I said, I guess problem solved. And my father gave me $5. Why did you do that? He says, well, I was going to call the electrician.
God damn it.
Yeah.
No, I have this attitude where like I don't have the patience for anybody else anymore.
Correct.
I don't like people are like, oh, I only take my car to the dealership. And I was like, I just want you to know that I met the best and brightest who work at that dealership.
And they're neither.
And right, and they're neither. Yeah, they're like just a
guy.
They're farting in their hands and smelling it.
yeah. Like I don't know how to. I use the term unga bunga, but that's not like right. But like I had a teacher in brakes class, and the solution to everything was the hammer. And well, yes, sometimes that's fun.
Yeah.
You just need to break stuff. And yes, sometimes you do need the Unga Bunga hammer
Sometimes
to
you
like
do break
get
stuff.
that rear suspension or that lateral link bolt out
Yeah.
of Goldie. For
Yeah.
the love of God.
Yeah.
Like that lateral link bolt is the most notorious Subaru bolt known to man because it's exposed to the elements and just
Yes.
rusts
Let's put
itself.
like a nice visible window in
yeah.
there. It's like the
Yeah.
show rifle.
So
Mhm.
sometimes the hammer is the right tool.
Yeah.
But other times finesse and brain might be the best answer. And
That
Yeah.
like,
sounds like a law firm.
none of the
finesse and brain.
none of them had that. And it
Yeah.
was just like
Surprise! They just
infuriating.
give you the brain when you walk in.
I went to I needed when I got the pallet, needed a new exhaust system, and I took it to a guy at a shop who was very well reviewed. And I'm talking to him and I'm telling him that I want like stainless steel and like I want to spend some money on it, but it's tiny and whatever. And he's like telling me why I'm wrong. And I'm like, okay, fine. I don't really care. And then he's like, okay, I can get stainless steel, but like blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, great. When do you think you can have the parts in? And he's like, well, you have to take your clothes off.
What?
And I'm dead serious. No, I'm dead serious. I should name
When
drop, I
was
should name
this?
drop him. This was probably
Fucking do it.
a year and a half ago. Fucking take my
No.
What?
No, tell. What's the dealership?
it wasn't a dealership. It was just a random guy.
No, yeah. Say who it is.
I have to look it up because I've heard
Oh,
it
okay.
from memory. It's like Daddy's muffler shop or something.
Right.
Yeah, evidently.
But yeah. And I remember standing there and thinking like, I don't think. And it's funny because I was so naive where I was like, I should
Kill him?
still give this man my business.
Oh,
Like
no.
that's where
Yeah.
because I was like, well, I need somebody who knows how to custom fabricate, but like anybody can do yeah. Anyway, so then I went and got a degree in automotive
Right.
because I just don't
Want to do it
just,
ever.
like,
Yeah.
I would rather fuck up my own car and know how it was fucked up and like
Yeah.
I know what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
Like Goldie's check engine light was on when you gave me Goldie, and it was great, but I knew what was wrong with it, and then I would try and fix things, and then when I would get under the car the next time, I would be like, oh, my custom fabricated blah 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 fix for the TPMS sensor, or not the wheel speed sensor that's just stuck into the hole, like still working, still good. So yeah, like that kind. Like I was like, I'm done. I'm done with this, and I'm just rambling, but
No, that's
Did
fair.
the
I should find the name.
was
of
it
that
the
shop.
charcoal canister in the back that was the EVAP code, or did you just not?
I never solved it.
Yeah.
I would just clear the code and go to the DMV, and they'd be like, "Fantastic," and then
Yeah.
they would give me
Awesome.
a pass, and that was it.
I have
Yeah.
one of those with the
Yeah.
Mercedes. We were talking about that recently. I did fix my weird idle issue with the Mercedes. I
Ah.
broke everything else in the process.
Excellent.
Because it's rusty and old, and so like I finally did my motor mounts after not
Those were
wanting
yummy.
to. Oh my god, that was the worst. I would rather do ball joints on the Sequoia again than do those motor mounts.
No, I meant the way they
Oh
look.
yeah, they did. They were like an inch shorter than the new ones were coming out of the box. Like, they were very collapsed, which contributed to all of my idling problems. But because
Really?
The
because
motor
it's a-
mounts contributed to.
well, okay, no, I learned. So my whole time I was looking at this car, going, okay, this thing idles between like 450 and 500 RPM, which I thought was the vibration from like a vacuum leak. Then we got Chris's car. So Chris bought an E430, which is same motor as my car, 2 more cylinders, but like they're identical, block and everything. And it idles at the same RPM, but smooth as butter. And I was like, okay, I should just do those motor mounts. And I bet that
Different.
would fix my problem. And so I caved and I was like, we're going to do them. And because it's a 4MATIC and it's all-wheel drive, the axles are in the way of everything. So Mercedes did some stupid shit to make the motor mounts still fit while there's axles in the way. So on one side, you have to remove the exhaust to be able to get access to, like, from the cat back. So you can leave headers in place, sort of. You're supposed to take those off too, according to the Mercedes procedure, but I'm like, fuck all that. Because I know the first nut I try to loosen on the exhaust manifold, it's going to snap the stud off in the head and I'll kill myself. So like I can't. So I that's a game I wasn't willing to play. So I'm like, let's try cat back. So I did. I removed that and I had like PB Blast and the torch and everything. And the first bolt came out awesome.
Do you have
And
a
I was like, yeah. Well, I mean, we had Chris's. I was at Chris's house. Torch the
I need
one,
a torch.
PB Blast bolt came out, and I was like, killer. So we're torching the other one. And I put the wrench on and it doesn't spin. And so then I'm up top torching it, and Chris is underneath through the impact, and he goes, "This is going to break off when I try to take it off." I'm like, you know what? We got to do it. Get it done. And sheared the head, clean off the bolt. And I thought, all right, well, whatever. We'll address that later. Did that motor mount. Went to the passenger side. The alternator's in the way for that one. So we went to take the belt off, put the wrench on the tensioner, pulled the tensioner back. It went ping. Won't hold tension anymore. It did like the spring broke inside of it. And I was like, mother. So there's no belt. There's no belt.
Yes.
There's a giant exhaust leak from 3 cylinders, but
Yes.
the motor mounts are in. Idle smooth as shit. So it's still
Problem
at Chris's house.
solved
That's
successfully.
why I have the Sequoia, because the Benz is stuck over there. The tensioner's in the truck. I got to replace that Sunday, and then I have to drive it out to like Amish country to take it to my exhaust shop that I love because they're super cheap and do great work.
Was that the one you were talking about?
Yeah. That one out way out in the middle of
I should
nowhere.
have gone to them.
They're fantastic, and I'm going to.
And I will, because I still haven't fixed the exhaust.
Yeah, definitely do, because they're amazing. But I just called them today and set up an appointment with them. Appointment next week. I told them whenever I feel like driving out there, I'll drop the car off at night. Take your time. I have another vehicle. I don't give a shit how long it takes. But I told them, I'm like, hey, everything's already loose. Like that half of the exhaust will come out real easy now because I replaced all the hardware when it went back in. So there's no more shitty rusty bolts except the one that's stuck in the collector in the manifold.
Will they tap out that bolt?
Probably. If I had a welder, I would just like run a nut onto it, weld the nut on, and then just torch the shit out of it and just work it out slowly. But I don't have a welder. And the Harbor Freight welders that are in my price range, like sub $500, all suck shit. So like you need something that's decent. And like you buy an $800 welder, and then you buy a $300 thing of gas, and then you use it once.
Yeah.
And then it sits in the corner for a year until you have to pull it back out again. Like I could have used it.
The wife tells you to get rid of it.
Exactly. And so I'm like, so I have to. I'm like, it's much easier for me to deal with an exhaust leak for 3 hours driving it from Chris's house to Gemin exhaust in the middle of nowhere, Amish country, and pay them $38 to like extract this bolt.
There's your opportunity. That's when you go to Shady Maple, because you won't be able to tell the difference.
That's true. It'll make about the same noise. Yeah.
Right.
So
we can go. We can go because if we both go together.
Yeah.
When I get Crazy Taxi back.
It's
getting the rear main seal done.
Okay,
right
you're
now.
having that guy do that.
Yeah.
And then we'll do exhaust, and then
Tony's in the chat, and he says, I'm suspecting carburetor issue, which can be a bunch of things.
Yeah, vacuum leak.
But he does make a good point. Could be a fuel filter. A gunked up fuel filter.
That's what the POW needed.
Yeah.
Well, among other things.
What's his is just stalling at stoplights, but if you run it for a while, like if you have it on the highway for a little bit, then it doesn't stall at a stoplight.
Well, like if you just, like a pretty easy, like what I would do if I was diagging that, and I thought maybe it has a vacuum
fuel
leak
filter for that. You just break off the end of it. King.
Yeah. Because vacuum leaks are all like worst and most present at idle. Like you'll get things like you'll get oddities elsewhere, like on throttle if you have a little vacuum leak, but it'll be worst at idle.
Mm-hmm.
If you just turn the idle adjustment, not the fuel trim adjustment screws, like there's the actual fuel trim screws, but there's another screw that just sets your idle RPM, and that's all it does.
Mm-hmm.
If you just turn that idle RPM screw up like a half a turn, does it stay running? Because if that's the case, if you're holding the throttle open a little bit enough to compensate for the vacuum leak and it runs fine, then like that's a pretty easy.
Yeah.
Like I probably have a vacuum leak somewhere, because when
you just up your fuel.
When that idle screws off, it shouldn't really be pulling a whole lot of fuel because it's at idle. Like that, the car has an idle that it's set at. So if you just open the throttle enough to keep it running, does it stay running?
Said gunked up fuel pump, but if you had a fucked up fuel pump, you'd probably get problems all the time.
Yeah, and you would have things like weird soft limiters, like you try to accelerate and it just won't rev past a certain RPM and stuff like that. Like that wouldn't normally attribute to idle.
I would start with the fuel filter. Like
do a fuel filter.
You might as well.
If someone had an inline fuel filter somewhere,
I guarantee you that it has. I mean, if it has an inline fuel filter, it's the one that they all have. Like at 5/8 fuel line, it's a can.
Yeah.
It has an arrow on it.
Yep.
They're universal. You put them in.
Yeah.
You put it in it. Fuel. It does the thing. Mm-hmm. They're not. That's not vehicle specific. Thank God. So that's an easy way to start.
Mm-hmm.
But then you can just like grab that little idle RPM screw and just give it a little. If it stays, If it gets up and runs fine doing that, then
Mm.
yeah, there might even be a leak within the carb. Like carbs leak, or there's bushings around the pin for the like the throttle, like the butterfly valve. Those leak.
Yeah,
That'll cause vacuum problems. The gasket where it mounts to the intake manifold will leak.
Yeah,
Like
I've solved
and
that
all
with
of it
some
is just-
motorcycles I've had with just RTV.
yeah, you can just like glob a little RTV on it, and like
Yeah.
that stuff. I mean, if you have a paper or rubber gasket that's constantly getting fuel like all over it for
Yeah,
30 years,
that'd be a thing to check
Not
if
gonna
there's
be-
fuel around the carburetor, if it's getting in. But
Mhm.
no, yeah. But the thing is about his carburetors on that key truck, because it's been upfitted as a fire truck. There's like
Right.
this weird access panel you have to take off to get to it. 'Cause
that's cool.
Mm.
That's fun.
Yeah.
It's not like a cab over where you just like flip the cab forward and call it a day.
You flip the passenger seat up and you can
Oh,
kinda
that's right.
get
There's
at
like
the
kind of a
carburetor.
doghouse
It's
sort of.
odd.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah,
Big
that's
fan.
why I want the Today, because it's just a normal car. You open it up, and it's the same engine that comes in the Honda Beat.
Right.
It's the same engine with the. Okay, so they they did make a version of the Honda Today that does have the ITBs in it,
Cute. That's
but
cute.
most of them have one,
Yeah.
and the difference is 700 RPM. So it shows, I guess, how gimmicky ITBs can be sometimes.
Yeah.
We have somebody who's just saying good late morning from Tokyo. Someone
That's where
there.
I'm going.
Nice. Toku-chan is the person.
Jealous.
Do you want to come with me?
Yeah. Do you think I'll fit in your carry-on?
I was not prepared for how expensive that trip was.
Yeah.
I'll be completely honest.
Yeah.
I was not prepared for that.
For,
Yeah.
for the just for the plane ticket or other stuff in general?
The plane ticket I think was reasonable. I think it was the hotel that like I just was
Oh,
like
really?
crushing. Yeah.
Uh,
First of all, most hotels were just sold out.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and like the only other option from there is like a sleep pod where you just.
I'm
like-
not doing a sleep
Yeah,
pod.
I mean, I know you wouldn't.
and
That's
I
not you.
and I am, even though I am 5'3", I'm not doing a twin bed either. A single twin bed.
Okay, I see you.
Kurt, you
Classic.
wouldn't. You
I
literally
don't-
wouldn't fit.
I know I wouldn't fit.
All right. All right. But
oh,
yeah,
you mean their twin bed?
correct.
Correct.
It's different.
Yeah.
And I don't know because
I don't fit in a regular twin bed either. Just for the right
Yeah.
there, I've got a couple too many.
different, lemon different.
Yeah.
Well, we've been going for 2 hours and 45 minutes.
That's awesome. That is
I got
thorough.
nothing else.
Yeah,
I'm honestly craving some Wawa.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I was-
Wawa? We got the salad.
I was.
the
I
what?
did
We
have
have
a.
a full dinner. with
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah. Well,
Yes,
yeah.
we just
Oh.
says to put it in the oven.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
what I told
I
you.
was.
oh, I'm
Salmon,
sorry.
Rice.
Hell
broccoli,
yeah.
Fresh strawberries.
I
Hell
did
yeah.
have like one more parting thought or something that
Yeah,
Corey
yeah.
like started to touch on a half a second ago because we were at. No, you're fine. We went at the audio show when we went to DC. We went.
Hell
The
yeah.
three of us went down to DC and went to this high end audio show. Like three of us that
Nice.
don't give a rat's ass about high end audio
I
stuff.
can afford them.
Yeah, and I mean, like we appreciate it,
Right.
but like
Did
Yeah,
you
yeah,
see
you know,
the link I sent you?
yeah, I didn't even look at it because I had this sort of like almost like a drinking game going where I'm like,
Mm.
if I like
If I have to listen to Steely Dan one
I was gonna say
goddamn time,
I was like
Tag.
take a shot for every time you hear Babylon Sisters.
Yes.
And it's like, and we were like hospital before we even got through the second floor. You know,
I
because
was.
it's just
I
like the
was.
go-to. And so,
was the store playing Babylon Sisters?
well,
or were people playing?
No,
it's at
every
a hotel, so it's like a
It's a
con.
every
But
room is a different.
every
setup.
hotel- it's a
each
listening
room
room.
is a different
Oh.
setup of like $250,000 worth of.
So, but
He's not
we walked.
exaggerating.
No, we walked into.
I'm
There's a.
not.
I took a picture of Corey, but we walked into a room. They were playing Babylon, and I just bought Gaucho on vinyl because it's like my boyfriend's favorite, one of his
Mhm.
favorite Steely Dan albums. So I grabbed it, and we're walking upstairs, and I hear them playing the song. Right, $288,000 for the kit for the setup that they had. This is so they had these pamphlets in each room, and it was like their signal chain. So it's like we're running it through this thing.
So
and
like
that
at furry
thing.
cons, everything is just a rave in someone's room, and this
Right,
thing
this
a
is just an
listening
audio
party?
show. Yeah, it's literally just like they just are playing
it's like
music.
miniature showrooms.
Yeah, but you
Okay.
can like into there with
Yeah.
stuff like if you
Yeah.
have a record or a CD or something. Like Jim used to go with a CD and be really annoying. Like he would make them play really stupid music just to like piss them off.
You were genuine this time.
But like this
though.
time, you brought a really, really, really nice record of a
Yeah.
amazing concert, and played it, and it sounded okay.
Yeah, it
But,
was
like,
not incredible.
It wasn't incredible.
No, it didn't. it sounded really
But then
good.
again, they were
but
also making speakers out of like weird quartz and marble that like cost more than my house. I'm like, this is just stupid.
It's all
Like
you
we're
know,
just, you know,
exactly.
and so I appreciated some of it, but we were talking about how maybe audio equipment is going the way of cars where they've like gotten sterile.
I asked her.
Kind of. So we were sort of talking about this, but when we were down in the like area in the flea market area, before we had gone in any listening rooms, I was like, you know, I appreciate that there is a place for high-end audio equipment, like hi-fi, like crazy and like hi-fi stuff, but like I don't know that I always like it. Like while something can be objectively better, I feel like once you spend so much time seeking the most objectively good thing, you lose character. And then I came with my definition of character, which is just like endearing faults or flaws. Like when he's just I
What are you
don't
just
even
like looking through my photos? It's
Just-
like the
there's
cardinal
nothing.
sin.
It's just your pal and your dog.
yeah, it is. That's what I
car
said.
pictures.
That's what I said to her the last time she opened her camera
Just
roll.
dog,
It's just
dog,
like,
Pal, house,
dog,
dog, pal,
sipping
house.
leaves.
Dog and leaves.
Dog in leaves.
I love my dog.
You do. I love your dog. But anywho,
This is
and
a
so
wedding
we
photo?
were
You scroll through my photos, it showed.
yeah. So we were like, and so yeah, it's just like character, like the same thing with old cars. Like we like shitty old cars, and they have you know what when we call a car and it says, oh, it has character, like it just has endearing flaws. Like it has weird things about it.
Here's where my pictures start.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Two dragons with
Two dragons with
dicks,
gigantic dicks and balls
frauding
kissing.
and making out.
Come
Yeah.
everywhere.
Come everywhere. Yeah. And so it was like while
I
I
would love that.
you know, like while I
awesome.
like my at-home stereo because it's not
Yes.
anything fancy for starters, and like
Yep.
there's also the whole like diminishing returns thing
Yes.
of like the
Yep.
once you reach a certain price point, the level of quality plateaus, and it just kind of doesn't really get better.
Yep.
And you made a good point of like similarly with like monitors, like people are chasing these 144 frames a second monitors or whatever. Like I got to get the best when your eyes don't like really see more than like 62 or whatever.
Yeah,
like
right.
you don't get anything more. Like your ears don't hear the difference
Well-
between a $65,000 stereo and a $288,000 stereo.
Yes.
And then I got home and I opened my pressing of Gaucho and I put on
I
my
was gonna-
turntable
I was gonna
and I
ask
you.
fired up fucking Babylon Sisters in
I hate
my
you
9x5
so
living room
Yeah.
with my speakers 8 inches away from my head, and I went, "Yeah, sounds pretty good."
Yeah.
And I-
I
and I-
literally went home
And I
and
texted I texted my friend and I said, "Do I just not have the like audiophile ears to understand why these systems sound so much better?" And he goes, "No, your wife just hasn't left you yet." And I'm like, well,
Well,
yeah. It's,
and it goes to almost anything, meaning that to somebody who is truly into it, they hear differences and
Yeah.
it's meaningful to them.
yeah,
Same as a car.
Okay.
yeah,
And-
Yeah.
Okay, and that's where I was going to go. It's same as a car. What do you mean? I put gasoline in it. I turn the key.
Yeah.
There.
It's a
still
coach built.
right.
It's
Yes.
coach edition LS
Yeah,
400.
but
What's
like-
the difference?
Right.
What's the
But
big
the
deal? Well,
difference, though, is that we're at that level. It's almost all cottage industry.
Yeah.
mm,
Like
one
they
guy.
have-
Yeah, it's one dude.
Yeah, they have like they might make 30 of
Mhm.
these
Yeah,
speakers
yeah.
a year.
Yeah.
mm,
Or if it's a little
Yeah.
less, like a $2,000 speaker, maybe they'll make 100, 200
Yeah.
of them. But it's all short run.
Yeah.
And it is also dependent upon where the placement is.
Yeah,
So listening to that
Yep.
shit
right.
in a room that's basically a glorified bathroom.
Yeah.
mhm.
Is not the way to hear it.
Right. Well, and then
Yeah, they say that.
on
yeah.
the opposite side of the same coin, there's like the cynical side of me that again just thinks that all of this is like a crazy unnecessary amount of money, which it is regardless. Like there's no arguing that.
Yeah,
but
someone in the comments said it's the same deal with watches.
it is. If it's
Oh,
worth,
and they
if
had
it's
watches.
they do. Oh, there were people
Oh,
selling watches and knives.
Yes.
But
They're,
like
time.
Did you
pieces.
say
in
watches
the
and
timepieces,
knives?
yeah,
Oh,
knives,
timepieces.
timepieces. Sorry, but like in the same way, like I again my cynical, I go back to like the same way of like somebody who loses a race. I missed a shift. Like, when you're in the room and you go, oh, this kind of sounds sort of crummy. And they're like, well, the room's not treated right for it. And I'm like, okay, but is this like how much of that actually like I understand again if you're into the hobby and that's your thing, fine. And if you can hear the differences, congratulations. But the thought that I had leaving that whole show was that older stuff that I listen to, older speakers, older amplifiers, no matter how many tubes, you can put 9,000 tubes in your 18 stage amplifier and you run 4 of them for each speaker. They lack this feeling of warmth. Like there's just something about old stuff that has this warmth to it. And old cars are the same way. And like old cameras, like I shoot with cameras.
The horn speakers we heard.
Exactly. And those were an old design. And I thought those sounded fantastic. But they were playing music also that they were designed for.
Yeah.
When those speakers were built, when those were designed originally, that design that they copied or whatever it was, like they built those speakers to play the music that we heard them play on it, And so I was like, this stuff sounds good through that because that's what these were meant for.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, like I just...
well, the Magnapan
but
guy,
I feel that, that guy pissed me off. That guy
the Magnapan guy, I was like, because I have our the third roommate's old speakers. Do you remember? He had Magnapans, the big black.
They look like boards.
We can't say his name. We can.
I don't know, Tyler.
I don't
know. Yeah.
Tyler.
We need Mr. Good Vibes again. But anyway, I bought his speakers from him in college.
I need to buy a receiver from somebody. If anybody has one.
Oh.
Well, Jim.
He's in Japan.
Yeah, Jim's Macintosh keeps dying. If you want that,
it
breaks about every other year.
Oh, are you
good?
Yeah, I'm taking so. But serious, if you want a receiver, we'll go to Chestnut Hill Audio.
Yeah, you can just find something.
Yeah.
I mean, the nice thing is, like you or I or any other normal person will be more than content with a sub $200 receiver.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
you could probably
bought
spend
a cheap pile off of one, and it didn't even get loud enough.
Yeah, there's definitely like cheap
because it was that big.
Yeah. The only thing that if you're going for like a decent looking older receiver, the golden age was the 70s.
It was, yeah.
Okay, that's when they still had great build
quality. VU meters going on like
the problem now is it's 50-year-old.
Right. Yeah. And people are also into those, which is like I buy 90s stereo stuff because like 90s mid-grade stuff is all of the same cool shit you got with the 70s and 80s minus the wood grain, and people don't chase after them.
Well, there's less. They had more analog stuff in the 70s.
There was more analog stuff, sure, but like you're still, even with most 70s stuff that you find, unless you seek out a sought out tube amp, you're still getting something that's solid state.
Right. No.
And so at that point, it's like, you're playing the same game.
Yeah, they were still using rotary control.
Right.
Still had VU meters.
Well, yeah.
I was just mad that the salesman for Magnapan
was an asshole.
Was like,
oh
no, your old speakers are no good.
He was like, you need to get new ones. They're so much better now.
He's like trying to sell a new product, and like I already was sold on it. But like I was like, can you describe to me what is different between this newer model and he was like, well, I'm showing you right now, and I was like, cool.
He was he annoyed the shit out of me. I was like, I gotta leave before I punch this dude. I was so mad. I was like, what the ass? Hang on, Victor's here. Let's let him in.
Okay.
There's an extension cord.
Yep. Don't let him twitch. Okay, someone else is coming in. We can probably wrap this up pretty soon. Yeah.
Babbling about
what's up?
Whole thing better because feel.
Hi, Victor.
Warmer.
Hey, what's up, man?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. How you doing?
Good. I like salmon.
Yep.
I'm actually good for that, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, we may not stick around for dinner. We may depart early, unfortunately. I know. I made an oopsie poopsie, and I kind of double booked myself tonight by mistake. And
why don't you can have the fish, and then you can have the meat.
Okay.
And on that note, thank you for everybody watching live RCR. Thank you for Jim for hosting us tonight. Thank you for Corey. It's been too long.
Thank you for coming.
And then thank you, Kurt, for hanging out again. What's up, Victor? And thank you for everybody for watching. Thank you to the people who donate on Super Chat. Your money will be well spent. And we're going to do more podcasts in the future. And enjoy these glitches because it's an old webcam. I'll use the Canon XA again in the future. Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
And we're off.